following podcast is being brought to you by the Defy Life Podcast Network.
This week on the Defy Life Podcast, we will talk some NBA free agency. We will also talk white folks calling the cops on black folks for merely existing, Nike dropping the 13-star flag. We'll talk Manny Pacquiao versus Amir Khan in November. And, of course, as always, we will answer some listener questions and wrap things up with some trivia. All that and more. Let's get to it. Yeah, that's what it is. I guess we gotta do it then. You alright? Chill, pool, out, money, West Coast. Let's get it. Strap in, let's take a ride. Oh yeah, it's about that time, right? Been waiting all week to get to this. It's finally time to defy life. Let's chop it up, keep it real, no other way. That's what we do. We might disagree, but it's all love. Guarantee we gon' speak the truth. Yeah, this hit different. My guys with me now. Who's with us? Stick around for a few minutes. It's contagious. You'll get it. You downloaded the realest. Don't feel us, but get out. You not rocking with Defy Life, then what's your life about? I'm saying never done nothing for you. Told you. On to the show. Huh? I'm gonna let this ride out though. Welcome back to the Defy Life Podcast, powered by the Defy Life Podcast Network. This episode is sponsored by Bud Bottles, home of the Bud Bottle and the Bud Freshener. Please visit budbottles.com for your odor eliminating needs. Thank you for listening. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, GoDefyLife.com, and everywhere your favorite podcasts are available. As always, we encourage you to like, subscribe, and give us a 5-star rating whenever you listen. You can also find us on all social media platforms at Go Defy Life. This is episode 114, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, J.R. Glymph, joined as always by my wonderful co-host, Alvin Glymph, Gerald Hedrick, West Coast J. How's it going today, Al?
Yo, unlike most Knicks fans, I'm doing pretty good.
All right. Yes,
I'm doing pretty good. I've been getting texts. I've been getting phone calls. People been sending me pigeons from Brooklyn. It's been all types of communication where from Net fans and Knicks fans, it's been a real interesting 72 hours. But I'm doing good and just happy to be here. Good to be here. What's up, fellas?
Ain't nothing, man. Good to have you.
Yes,
Gerald Hedrick, what's good, sir?
Yo. I've been waiting 2 weeks to say 2 for Tuesdays. Really?
So should it be 6 for Tuesdays since don't you owe us a good Tuesday?
I owe y'all 2 Tuesdays, man. The real is back, baby. I'm doing the opposite of Al J. It's no secret who my favorite player in the league is, not just, on my team. I'm a humongous Kemba Walker fan, partially because I've watched him play game in and game out for 8 seasons. And, I just really sucks that we let him get out the door. And so I'm having difficulties coping. For the first time in 8 years. Next season, I'm not going to be a season ticket holder. I've decided to not renew.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There you go. That's what's up.
And I think that's my silent protest right now. And I'm not having a very good week, man. I know I guess we can get into that when we get into the NBA stuff because I do got a lot to say. But I'm back, baby. I miss y'all.
I got a lot of questions, so I can't wait to get to the NBA.
And moral of the story is eventually Michael Jordan fucks it up for everybody. So yes.
I'll save that for later. I'll save that for later. Q2, I had a bunch of sorry listeners. I had a bunch of work priorities. Q2 ended and we didn't hit any of our projections. And I got I got called to try to salvage as much of the quarter as we could over the last couple of weeks. So I've been off working and just trying to do what I can. So I'm back. Hopefully, we can start off Q3 strong. So that won't happen anymore.
All right. West Coast Jay, what's good?
Oh, ain't too much. You already know. I'm over here holding on like a hubcap in the fast lane.
Yep.
You dig? I'm pretty excited about the NBA free agency that's been jumping off. It's been making me laugh. It looked like the Knicks is going to get everybody the Lakers was supposed to get. Looked like the Warriors did. But I'm still look. I can't wait to get into that segment because I'm trying to figure out how we pulled off a sign and trade. We'll talk about that when we get there.
Yeah.
But that happened. Something for nothing turned into hey, look, we made nothing out of something.
All right. So,
I got news for you. So wait, when we get to it.
Man, word.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and jump into it so we can get to it.
That's
as
what I'm
always,
talking about.
we
Moderator.
right. Let's so as always, a little bit of house cleaning before we get to the meat of the show. I do want to let everybody know that episode 2 of season 2 of the Defy Life Trivia Battleground will take place this week. So coming up on episode 2, I hope you guys enjoyed episode 1. Suave the Thinker did not show up. I don't think that man really exists anyway. But yeah, so if you don't know by now who won episode 1, go check it out. So there was Brad J. Brown, Ladine Glymph, and Toya C., all guests of the Defy Light podcast in previous shows. And we got to go check out, see who came out on top to advance to the finals. So episode 2 is going to feature Movie Man Miggs, Lynn and Kim, our very own Alvin Glymph, representing the Defy Light show.
Yo.
And Ozzy Killmonger from Take a Knee. So, yeah, so it's going to be a good one. A lot of personalities on that show, a lot of smart people. Yeah, and some very interesting topics. So that's going to be a fun one. So look out for that this week.
I didn't hear West Coast J as a member of that lineup.
Oh, that's because I don't have to be. I'm the defending champ, and so they're coming to see me.
Right.
Okay.
West Coast J will actually be on the show as a third co-host. So he will be joining.
Okay.
Yeah, so he will be joining me and Scott to talk some shit and give his hilarious quips as we go through the show. But yeah, whoever makes it through these first 3 episodes got to see West Coast J.
Facts. Hey, West Coast. Your ad-lib commentary in that first episode is fucking hilarious.
Yo, like I need whoever didn't listen to it to listen to it just so they can hear the greatest question I have ever heard in my life.
It was hilarious.
Yo, Jay set it up. Y'all did a really good job on that joint. I have definitely listened to it. I enjoyed every second of it.
Yeah, it was great. We had a good time, and
yeah, man, lots of laughs.
Yeah, and shout out to Brad and Ladine and Toya. They was good sports, and they had
shout
fun
out to regular Scott for trying to destroy everybody with them questions.
Right. And Scott actually tested me after he listened to it. Was like, I did my job. I'm proud of myself. So Scott was yeah. So wait till y'all get a load of these next questions on episode 2. So Al, be ready.
All right.
And then secondly, we talked about it a little bit off air, and this don't really affect nobody that's listening, but I just want to let y'all know we got a Defy Life cookout coming up. So everybody from the Defy Life podcast network, go to defylife.com, contributing writers, everybody from the voices you're listening to here, the Take a Knee guys, the relationship status crew, everybody, Miggs, Paul from Memoirs of a Lucky Guy, everybody, regular Scott, everybody, Kim and Lynn, everybody's going to be there. Even our patrons are going to be there. Toy C, Ladine, Brad J. Brown, everybody's going to be there. So, we'll have a bunch of pictures, some videos on GoDefyLife.com. So just want to give y'all a heads up to be looking out for that. And if you are a patron, you are invited. And if you're interested in becoming a patron and you are close to Kim's house, hit me up. and you can be invited as well. So,
That's right.
Yeah.
So yes, we're definitely excited about that. Now, on to the news and entertainment. First, we're going to talk about Colin Kaepernick. Even though he has been blackballed from the NFL, no secret. We talked about it a lot of times here. He still got some weight to throw around. So Nike was releasing for the 4th of July 13-star flag. What's also known as the Betsy Ross flag. Of course, the original American flag with the 13 colonies. Colin went to them and was like, I don't think y'all want to do that. Maybe you want to rethink it. Because that flag does represent a time in this country where, slavery was prevalent and not everybody was free. So that flag is offensive to me. It's offensive to a lot of people in this country, and it's offensive to a lot of your fan base. So you may want to rethink it. Nike decided, hey, let's pull that shoe. The man's got a point. With that, Nike is also planning to open a new facility, a new manufacturing facility in Arizona. And the governor of Arizona has decided to urge that, I think it's Goodyear, Arizona, where they were going to give, of course, government funding to Nike for bringing those jobs there. And the governor is now urging that city to pull the funding so Nike doesn't get that funding for opening their facility, because he is ashamed that we are letting political correctness and revisionist history determine our decisions again when it comes to the history of this country. And of course, he called hell on trivia. Immediately after that, the governor of New Mexico tweeted in response to his rant of tweets and said, "Hey, Nike, let's talk." So, Nike. So yeah, I know that's a lot to take in. But Al, first of all, what are your thoughts on? Is that short-sighted of Nike? Like a little bit, like a little tone deaf to release a Betsy Ross flag shoe?
I wouldn't say it's tone deaf, because obviously from the governor of Arizona, it doesn't offend everybody. So it's possible that the people who are creating it, behind the marketing and promotion of it, didn't see it that way. Mm-hmm. Because honestly, until this conversation, would have never occurred to me either. Okay. Honestly. So I don't think it's tone deaf. And I really think, more importantly, just shout out to them for listening to Colin and taking his perspective into consideration, and understanding that whether or not they saw it that way, they can appreciate that someone else sees it differently. And the people, not only do people see it differently, but the people who see it differently are a very valuable customer and clientele. Right. So let me treat them with the respect they deserve and come up with another sneaker. So I think, while again it didn't occur to me before this situation, I have respect for everyone involved, including Colin, for even saying something. Right. Because I think when you are in positions of influence and power, you need to speak up for those who you represent who might not be in the room. Right. So that's just how I think leaders behave. So to me, I just give a lot of shout outs and big ups to Nike and Colin. That's how I see it.
No doubt. So money, with the fact that Nike was bringing 500 jobs to the city in Arizona, and also committed to $1 billion in community improvements and revamping the city, all that stuff. Those 500 jobs were going to be on average salary of $49,000 a year. Not chump change. Very good for the community. And so with that, like, would it behoove the governor to get out of his emotions and let's get this money?
We've seen, companies and schools and things of that nature try to shun Nike or shame Nike into maybe, backtracking on what their ideals are. And it just so happens that, their ideals seem to align with Colin and like our people at this time, and I like Al said, I think it feels good. Here's what feels good. To know that things that we have been saying and have fallen on deaf ears for a long time in this country, it feels good that it like someone's paying attention, even if it's just one company. But I find that this is the trend. Like, things are trending in this direction. Like I can't say enough about. Now, granted, we talked about this when Nike first endorsed Colin, and we very well discussed that they've definitely done the analytical research. In fact, I think their quarterly sales are up like 4 or 5% worldwide, and that equals out to an extra like $11 billion. So I think a lot of that is their marketability and people's desire to, wear the product. And I think they made the right choice. I think they know they made the right choice. So I don't think this situation is gonna, make Nike even blink their eye. And we've seen people and companies and townships and things like that completely lose all their footing and their financial stability because they tried to stand against Nike. Right. And so, we talked about it before. Even the NFL, like straight down to Nike. They were like, okay, like when it was just these folks and that folks and these people it was one thing. But now, okay, Nike said, and we're gonna feel that a little bit, and we're gonna wear that one. So it's smart when an entity the size and has the prestige of a Nike. It's I think when you try to go head to head with them, I just don't think you're going to win. So I don't think it behooves the governor to, do any boycotting or anything along those lines in terms of saying, well, we don't want your business here, or we don't want you to open up that's just detrimental to that community. So if I were that community, I'd be very upset, and I wouldn't listen to the governor.
Right. Yeah. And we definitely see the revealing of power structure when companies start to go up against one another. And, when, the NFL, they got shows taken off of HBO, and, they kind of get to throw their weight around. But then when they got up against Nike, like you said, like even the NFL was like, oh, yes. It was like Bushwick Bill said.
You want some of this, old man?
Yeah. So, yeah.
Nope.
So, nobody fucks with Nike. And so yeah, but I don't know what, like West Coast Jay, like, of course you saw in response to that, of course, folks start burning their Nikes, and when I say folks, you know who we talking about. Started burning their Nikes, and Money also mentioned that Nike quarterly sales went up 4%. You know why? Because those idiots that burn their Nikes got to go buy more Nikes.
That's what they need, though.
So they're not switching to Under Armour, Jay. They're not switching to Under Armour.
No. Them same
There's no
dad
New
running
Balances.
Shoes, right?
Like, ain't nobody trying to make the Puma, the revamp of the Pumas come back. Ain't no more PF Flyers.
Right. Yeah, burning your Nikes.
And Nike owns Converse, so
right.
Chuck Taylor is alive and well.
Yeah, like burning your Nikes is a great idea until you like, fuck, I like Nike.
Until they realize all they got in their closet is Chuck Taylors.
Right, yeah, like until you go, until you go for your your evening walk, and you're like, hey, these fucking Adidas are uncomfortable. I need some fucking Nikes. And you got to go back to Marshalls and get you some new Nikes.
Yeah.
So
my favorite one, I'm gonna go ahead and get this one to Ted Cruz. He has my favorite response thus far. Mm-hmm. Ted Cruz of losing to Donald Trump in the Republican primary fame says, "I love America. I stand for the anthem, respect the flag, and honor the men and women who fought to defend our nation. I respect free speech, and I am exerting mine until Nike ends its contempt for those values." And this next part's in caps, so I'm going to try and get all of the feeling I can get. "I will no longer purchase Nike products. Hashtag walk away from Nike RT if you agree." So he's my favorite response right now. Like, the angry response is hilarious. It's almost like the people who make a whole bunch of money, like, forget how to make a whole bunch of money, and alienating 3/4 of your fan base. Yeah. Whether or not they even so that's the part that got me, is that until Colin brought it up, I never looked at the Betsy Ross flag like that. Like, I don't know if you guys trip on one of the Sixers alternate uniforms. The Philadelphia 76ers is the 13 stars with the 76 in the middle.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like, we never even paid attention to it. Like, I know I looked at it like, it's kind of a fly idea. I like what you guys did right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
yeah, me personally, I don't get offended.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's the thing, is like, most things that have been buried in history, you aren't offended by until because, like, the true history has actually been hidden from us for so long.
Right.
And even now that it's not necessarily hidden, it's like you don't know what you don't know to a certain degree. And so as things start to come out, you know, you gain that education just like anything else. You know, just like with with Juneteenth. It's been recent years when people have, like, mainstream started talking about Juneteenth, and big ups to the state of Pennsylvania for making Juneteenth an actual holiday. But stuff like that. So so most of us didn't think of the Betsy Ross flag in that sense. But if you think about it, what does it represent?
Yeah, I mean, but it's only if you think about it.
Right.
The problem with it is the white supremacist national groups that have thought about it. Mm-hmm. So there was a 2018 flyer of in upstate New York, actually, the United Northern and Southern Knights of the Ku Klux Klan, which shows a Klansman on horseback carrying a Confederate flag in one hand and a Betsy Ross flag in the other.
Right.
You know, that's upstate New York. We're like, why do you care about the Confederate flag up there? That wasn't even close to the Confederacy.
Yeah.
But I think the point, for me, again, like, I wasn't offended before, still not offended, but that's not the point. Mm-hmm. The point is to me, is that when there is a significant constituent that is offended in other situations,
right,
whether Alvin Glymph is offended or not, people in our mainstream America take that into consideration and say, oh, that offends women? You know what? My bad. Let's be different. Let's change that.
Yeah.
Or, that refers to the Holocaust? Oh, check it out. Let's be different. Let's not offend that, whether Alvin Glymph gets it or not. So to me, it is not about, do I say, oh, damn, you know what, y'all shouldn't be offended. No. If we can come up with another solution that does not offend this major part of our business, we're going to go in that direction. And for the rest of y'all, y'all are really showing y'all racial bias for you to get mad that we changing our opinion, that we change. Because if this was with Jews, y'all wouldn't have gave a damn.
Right.
If this was with women, y'all wouldn't have gave a damn.
Right.
Y'all would have been like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, come up with another word. Don't do that. Come up with another picture. Because it doesn't really matter. Use another flag.
Right.
Right.
No one's saying that this flag only represent slavery.
Right.
So the people say there's some revisionist. Ain't nobody changing history. We understand that it also means other stuff, but that doesn't matter. The fact is, for some people, it hurts their opinion, hurts their feelings. So change the damn snake up.
Right. And two things. One, like you always say, Al, at the end of the day, it's a business. And whether you like it or not, the goal for Nike is to make money. And if releasing that shoe was going to turn off 2/3 of their customer base, hey, you pull that shoe.
Correct.
Secondly, like it's the privilege of the whole thing to be able to get pissed off because you don't get to offend somebody. Yeah, like it's kind of like the N-word. Like, what is it about that one word that's so powerful that it pains you that you can't say it just because you hear other people saying it? And so the same thing, like just because they're pulling that one shoe, was that your opportunity? Like, really, if Nike never released that shoe, were you the one that was going to think about it? Like, man, I wish Nike would have released a Betsy Ross flag shoe. No, if they never would have dropped it, you never would have thought about it.
Right.
So it was not that big of a concern to you from the beginning. Now that you know, oh, there was an opportunity for me to like wear something that was offensive anyway to a lot of people. Now I can't wear it. Let's cry about it. Like, so that's just the privilege of the whole thing.
Along those same lines, I think it's also the fact that it was Colin Kaepernick.
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Has butt hurt everybody. Everybody who wanted to hate him from the beginning now has a new chapter to add to their hatred.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
And like along those lines, like Al, when you mentioned other, when y'all mentioned the Confederate flag, did y'all see the family in Georgia who hired a contractor, and the contractor came to their house and showed up with and it was a black family. Dude showed up in his pickup truck with a big ass Confederate flag waving out the back of it, and so he pulls up for work, like he about to get started on this job. And the lady at the house comes out. She's like, "Excuse me, sir. I'm sorry. I know you came a long way to start this job today, but and so her husband's standing by her, and she jumps in and says, yes, he's bothered by the flag. And so the contractor says, well, I can take it down." And the lady's like, no, thank you. I don't want you to take it down. You believe what you want to believe, but I will not be paying for your services. Again, I apologize. Thank you. Have a good day. She walks in. The guy gets back in his truck and drives off. That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. It's the privilege of it all. Like I would like you said, Al, that dude would have never shown up with a swastika to a Jewish family house. You know, like never. Like he either he wouldn't have taken the job if that were his beliefs, or he would have taken it down before he got there. But because it's us, they feel like they can just show up with their Confederate flag to your home when you're paying them for a service. Like, that's ridiculous. So it's that kind of stuff. It's the privilege of it all. And then to act offended when you get called out on your bigotry.
Well, props to that family for even refusing service.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of people still would have taken the service. Like, I mean, he is a good contractor.
Yeah, right. And he's the cheapest. So,
right. He does good work. I've seen a bunch of reviews.
So, I don't know, man. But shout out again, like you said, Al. Shout out to everybody involved, to Kaepernick, to Nike, to the governor of New Mexico who's ready to step in, because I'm sure Nike will find somebody willing to take their manufacturing plant and those 500 jobs.
Know that.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah. So tomorrow they will.
So I do have one question before we change subjects, and I'm gonna have to call it an emergency Black folk meeting. So I know it's just us in the room. I know ain't nobody else listening. It's just the four of us. So I do have a quick question that's just amongst Black folk. Mm-hmm. So I guess my question is, like, when does this stop? Like, where have we gone too far? So, like, Does the George Washington Bridge need to be renamed? Do the Patriots need to change their name? Do the Sixers need to change their name because it refers to a time when slavery was legal? Does Benjamin Franklin, anything with the Franklin name, need to come off? Do the Jeffersons need to, can we not see their reruns anymore? Like, I just don't understand where
I know where you're going.
The line at where it's like we are getting offended. That's my question.
I'll say two things. One, anybody that like is asked to is on the side of someone who feels offended that has to change something. I get that black folks can be oversensitive, like overly sensitive about racial issues. I get that sometimes it's a lot of us can pull the race card too quickly or unnecessarily. I get that. But rightfully so. So imagine you had 9 surgeries on your left knee. 9 surgeries on your left knee. Don't you think that every time somebody gets close to touching that knee, you're going to overreact to it? Right? And so and you're going to be extra cautious about anything coming close to that knee. You come close anything. So yes, rightfully so, you're going to be overly sensitive. So over generation of being misrepresented and mistreated and unjustly treated, you're going to be overly sensitive, and it continues until this day. And secondly, I don't know how far is far enough, because the other way has gone so far. We don't know how far is far enough yet. You get what I'm saying? Like, the fact that, you know, that Andrew Jackson and, like you said, Benjamin Franklin, though that the major figures who have done some really, really heinous things to black people in this country are still represented on national monuments and money and things of that nature are still represented without question, goes to show you that pendulum swung so far the other way. I don't know how far is too far when it swings back the other way. So
that's heavy.
All right, I can live with that. Heavy. I can rock with that.
Yeah, I can rock with that. But I was thinking the same thing. I was like, and that's part of the kind of reason why, like, I'm, you know, like, just historically speaking, I'm not ignorant to the fact that, you know, slavery was instituted at this time and horrendous acts were, you know, perpetrated during this time. That doesn't fall deaf on me at all. And that, like, other groups use these symbols to, I guess, perpetuate and forward their own evil agenda. That's not lost on me, but at the same time, it's not lost on me that it was a thing then. You know, so I'm not personally offended that, you know, someone should be able to say this was the original or one of the original flags, or, you know, Philadelphia was the original capital, or like without it. And every time someone says that, I don't go say, yeah, but we were slaves then, so I don't fuck with it. I'm balanced, and you know, the people may disagree with me, but you know, that's just that I'm able to look at the history and understand that two things can coexist at the same time. I mean, you know, you know, if you believe in, you know, the Bible and God or whatever, the Romans killed Jesus, and, you know, people don't, you know, we don't burn the country of Italy. You know, it's just like, you know, I don't know. I just think I agree with you that I do have a question of how far is too far. So I appreciate you asking, because I was going to ask.
Yeah,
I guess that's all I'll ask. That's all I'll add.
I mean, history's already happened. Like, it's there. And the only reason why it even becomes offensive at this point is because the people that are dredging it up appear to be on one extreme or the other. You know, had the Betsy Ross shoes dropped, somebody we know would have copped them without thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure they was fly. Because like I said, that Sixers uniform, that's a fly design.
So I say Ben Simmons probably was gonna cop them.
Right. Somebody was gonna cop them. But either way it goes, somebody was gonna cop them. You know what I mean? And not pay. And then somebody from, like, at this point, Colin has become an extreme left, like extreme, because that's what he's chosen to. That's where his platform is. That's why he's heard. That's why he's noticed at this point. So for him to be offended, I can't even say that I looked at it the same way initially. When he brought it up, it was like, huh, you're right, never looked at it like that. Mm-hmm. I wasn't copping the shoes either way.
Right. Yeah.
You know, and then for the other side, for them to be offended, that is Colin that brought it to everybody's attention.
Yeah.
You know, that makes sense to me as well. He did whatever. He started the kneeling.
Right. It's a never-ending cycle.
He's that bastard. Yeah. I mean, but it's also the loud minority. We're back to that again. Because the extremists, like most people, fall where we fall, right in the middle. Where it's, I mean, if we're closer to the left, we're close to the left. Close to the right, we're close to the right. It is wherever we are, we fall right in the middle. Like somewhere in between these extremes. But the extremes are the ones that have platforms. Right. Those are the ones that make the most noise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which makes for a very interesting future because we are in these very polar positions, very, very different perspectives. And in some cases, there are some very, very loud dissenters, whether they're minority or not. They're very, very loud, very vocal dissenters. And that often impacts the bottom line of a company. Like there are going to be instances going forward, like we see right here, where a company and some of their constituents conflict with whether it's a conservative or liberal government, like in Arizona. Like that, I think that is real interesting. And I would expect to see that again, like even in Georgia, where you have we're in a state that just passed this abortion law, which has a lot of people pissed. And there's a growing industry in the film industry, which typically is a fairly liberal industry. So a lot of the people in the film, which is a booming industry right now here in Georgia, one of the industry that's just growing off the charts in Georgia. Well, there are people saying, looking at the same government like, yo, yeah, we like doing films here and we appreciate the tax breaks. But the people who support us are saying we shouldn't be doing business with y'all.
Yeah.
And now the governor, his crew, and the Senate is like, they're put in a position. Do we stand on our morals, what we believe in, and for whatever reason, our constituents want us to put this law in effect? But it's going to probably have an impact on our bottom line. Right. And I just think going forward, it's going to be real, real interesting to see these two, whatever side of the fence is, whether it's the liberal corporation or right-wing corporation dealing with the liberal or right-wing government. There's going to be a lot of clashes like that, and some economies are going to get hurt. And I think Georgia is going to have an impact because I don't see them changing the law. Right. So it's going to be interesting.
Well, I don't know. Remember, I think Georgia had their own version of the bathroom law.
Yeah, I was about to say North Carolina went through the same thing.
And The Walking Dead said, okay, if you pass that law, we will not film there. And the governor vetoed the bill. Now, here in North Carolina, we passed the bathroom law. The governor did not veto the bill, and we lost everything.
The All-Star game was flipped to New Orleans so quick.
CIAA tournament,
everything. NCAA. I mean, we still haven't gotten any bowl games back. Well, we just got our bowl, but everything left. It was companies were pulling out of here left and right. I think it had an economic impact to the state for 1 year of about $22 billion. And needless to say, that governor was no longer the governor the next time an election came around. Right. So even so, Al, I agree with you, but even the conservative people of the state, because North Carolina is the majority conservative, even the conservative people in the state voted that guy out of here for because at the end of the
Cost
day,
money.
yeah, at the end of the day, I just lost my job because you voted for a law. Like, so, it can get pretty crazy. We'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm. Pay attention, y'all.
Yeah. Well, if you wonder why Colin Kaepernick kneeled, or if you wonder why people are offended when when touches of racist history of this country come up, did y'all hear about the black dude in Illinois who was arrested after hospital security called police because he was a hospital patient in a hospital gown who was diagnosed with double pneumonia, and he was recovering. Asked his doctor, could he go out, take a walk, get some fresh air? Doctor said, yeah. So, of course, he had, wearing the hospital gown, had the little rolling IV thing, the silver pole thing where the IV hangs from, rolling it around with him. Went outside in front of the hospital, and the security guard chased him down, stopped him, accused him of trying to steal the IV to sell it on eBay, and and called the cops, and dude got arrested. Yeah. So, if we are a little overly sensitive, this is why. This is a microcosm of why. How ridiculous is that? First of all, Al, how much is IVs going for on eBay these days?
I think last time I bought me some, I was getting them like 3 for $10.
Right. And West Coast Jay, is it my mistake, or when you go to the hospital, they charge you for your shit? So you can't steal an IV that's in your arm. You already paid for it. Am I correct?
I mean, that's definitely one way of looking at it, Jay.
Right. That is one way. And money. How fucking far are you going to get in the hospital gown with a rolling IV in your arm? Like,
with double pneumonia.
With
That's
double
my favorite
pneumonia.
part.
Right. And the cops got there and pulled the shit out of his arm.
I mean, I guess you're not going to get very far.
Right.
But that to me, that's just over the top. That's just too much.
Yeah.
I don't even, wow.
Like,
wow.
I really think this security guard was sitting at his post, and somebody showed him a video of like the barbecue Becky chick, or like the swimming pool Susie, like showed him one of them videos, and like, how fucking ridiculous can you get? You can't get more racist than that. And he just looked like, hold my beer. I'm gonna show y'all how fucking racist we can get. Like, that is just ridiculous, man.
Yeah, the worst part is, again, when I say double pneumonia, it was actually asthma and pneumonia.
Yeah.
And they took his rescue inhaler.
Yeah.
Wow.
And he went unconscious.
He had a seizure and an asthma attack, and they didn't give it back until he became unresponsive.
Right.
Wow. That was just crazy, man. I just think, when it's just amazing when you hear stories like this. And I can't, first of all, shout out to you, Jay, for like every week, every other week, at least 2 shows a month. You're coming up with these stories where things are happening in our country that it's just kind of like has me bugging, where I'm just like, where is this happening? Like, not that I'm shocked, but just that it just amazes me still, just how we get treated in this country, and just because of the color of our skin. And it's like, to me, you hear these stories about driving while black, walking in the white neighborhood while black, like walking in the mall while black, flying American Airlines while black. Like, there's just certain things that where you gonna get treated differently than other people. I get it. But damn, I can't even be sick while black or a patient while black.
Yeah.
Like, I can't even
Can't have pneumonia while
different
black.
in the hospital.
Yeah.
You can't have pneumonia while black. That's not a thing.
Right.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. And his brother went out to take the walk with him. They arrested his brother too. And of course, you see, like, this is the game they play. Like, so, you see the cops are trying to arrest you while you sick with pneumonia, like you literally almost died, and they're arresting you because some security guard accused you or whatever. And of course, you see your brother being treated like this and being arrested for no reason. Of course, you gonna get try to defend him, and so the cops arrested both of them for disorderly conduct. So that's the game they play. They escalate the situation, and then they arrest you for disorderly conduct. So it's, I don't know. And appreciate the shout out, Al, but it's honestly really not hard to find these stories. So it happens too frequently. Is what I found looking for topics for these news and entertainment topics, because they like this one was just chilling on the front page of Yahoo. Like, yay. So, yeah, man, it's just ridiculous. So, again, when folks ask, why are we so sensitive to race and why, we look at everything through a racial prism, it's usually because it is presented that way. And even when it's not, we don't have the privilege to not even think about it. Because all too often it does boil down to that.
That's a fact.
So, yeah, man. But we're gonna jump into some listener questions. Like I'm gonna be honest with y'all, everybody listening. We trying to get to the NBA. So
yeah,
right. So we're gonna jump into these listener questions and just give y'all a little precursor. We're gonna do these listener questions. We're going to take a commercial, then we're going to talk some NBA. So, first question, it's actually from Regular Scott of Take a Knee. So,
shout out Regular Scott.
Yeah, Regular Scott emailed me this week, and he was like, yo, I really want to ask a question. And
Regular.
Right. And since he's not allowed to talk sports on his show because Oz would go to sleep, he wanted to ask us a question. So shout out to you, Regular Scott, and everybody out there. Definitely check out Take a Knee from Marvel in DC, dropping every Sunday, weekly here on the Defy Light Podcast Network. But Regular Scott wants to know, first you, Al, where does the NBA draft class of 2003 rank all time? And of course, the 2003 draft class, that's the famed draft class of LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Carmelo Anthony, Chris Bosh.
What's up, fuckers?
Yo, guess who's back?
Goody.
What's up, fuckers?
Hey, what's happening?
Right on time.
Yeah, what's good, yo?
My bad. Go ahead. I just had to. That's my own little intro.
No doubt.
Guess who's Bizak?
Well, man.
What up, Yosh?
What up?
What's good, man?
Ain't nothing much, man. Just got in from slanging in these fireworks.
No doubt.
Slanging this.
Mr. Youssef.
Hey, man, getting the hustle on, man. But go ahead, Jay.
Oh.
Yeah.
I get to call you Yoshi. Never mind.
Right. Yeah. Oh, man. All right. Al, so what do you think the 03 class ranks all time?
I got it third. Tied for third.
Okay.
So I got 96, 84, and then I got it tied, 03 tied with 85, right? Okay. So, I mean, I can go through the names we can just leave it there, but that's my order.
Let's get the names, and then we'll...
I'm with the names.
So listen to the 96, right? So in 96, you had AI, Kobe, Camby, Sharif Abdul-Rahim, Marbury, Ray Allen, Antoine Walker, Peja Stokovich, Steve Nash, Jermaine O'Neal. So that 96 to me, that's the first. That's the number one.
Derek Fisher.
And D Fish. That's true too. D Fish.
Right.
84 is the Hakeem, Jordan, Barkley, Stockton, Otis Thorpe. That's who's in 84. So to me, they're the second best. Right. I think,
and in 84, sorry to cut you off, but I can't let you, of all people, go through the 84 class without mentioning Alvin Robertson. I had to throw in Al in there. So, yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Shout out to Sam Perkins.
All right.
Oh, and Perk.
Sam
Oh,
Perkins,
man.
Kevin Willis.
Yeah.
Perk.
Jerome Kersey.
85 was the Ewan, Mullen, Detlef Shrimp, Oakley, Karl Malone, Joe Dumars, Xavier McDaniel. So to me, like, where they're little, they don't have the star power of LeBron, because LeBron is better than everybody to me on that list. Their depth, that quality depth that they bring in that draft, to me, that's why they tied. When you look at the Melo, Bosh, and D Wade, like that, so that's where they rank. That's where I got them.
Okay, all right. And also in the '96 class was David West, Kyle Korver, Boris Diaw, Zaza Pachulia. Yeah, so just another few names. Money, where would you rank the 03 class?
Hey, I agree with Al. I would put it. It's close. It's close. To that 85 class, but I give it the edge over that 85 class, and I would say I have it at 4. Just due to the star power that ended up being LeBron James and Dwayne Wade. I mean, the 85 class was really strong overall, but I don't, LeBron James is arguably one of the, he's arguably the best player of all time, and that, that can't be said out of anybody in the 85 class. So I have 84 ranked over that at number 2, and the 96 class, to me, I have as, that's my favorite class of all time. And I was getting a little older. I was 16 years old. I was really paying attention to basketball, so I grew up watching all those guys. And just think of that. I mean, that 96 class is so strong. With one of the, I think the best shooter of all time, one of the best players of all time, Steve Nash, and the list goes on and on. So I just further, as many guys that came out of that class that ended up being, all-stars, defensive player of the year, and all of that, I give it a slight edge over the 84 class.
Okay. Let's go, Jay. What say you?
All right, I got 96, 84, 03, 85. So the cool part about the 03 is how deep you got to go. You keep going through. Once you get past David West, and you start saying stuff like Kendrick Perkins,
right,
Luke Walton, Steve Blake. Like, you start getting further and further. Kyle Korver. Like, you get all the way down this draft, and there's champions up and down this draft. Whether or not they were role players, that's one thing. They were champions up and down the draft. 96 so I'm looking at it like this. If I had a starting 5, right? If I had to play, each draft class gave me a starting 5. I feel like the 96 draft class would win. With, AI, with Camby in the middle, Ray Allen, Starberry, all the et cetera. I feel like they would win. Kobe with the 13th pick, you get a Kobe Bryant out of that. You got Steve Nash coming off the bench behind Allen Iverson, or Steve Nash starting with AI at the 2. Like, I feel like they'd win. Then you get to the 85s, and I feel like their starting 5, although it lacks championships. That's the one thing that the 85 draft lacked, was championships. Yeah. We got some of the greatest players. Karl the Mailman Malone was a monster.
Yeah.
Could score from every level except 3-point, but could score consistently and happen to have one of the greatest point guards on his team. But shout out to John Stockton.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I feel like 03. Those four are the top four. And I honestly think that depending on who you're talking to, it doesn't matter what the order is.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I would take 96.
Yosh, I know you just joined. Any of those stand out to you more than the other?
I would say this. This would be my order. If I was to put 2003 class would probably be fourth. I would place them fourth. Number one would be the 84 class. Jordan, Stockton, of course, I've said it to Barkley, Olajuwon. Who cares who would be the fifth starter? Those are the first ones.
Right.
Then right after that, I would 96 class, Kobe, Ray, Steve Nash, Allen Iverson, Pager, Marcus Camby, who when he came into the league was a certified stud.
Certified.
You could say for Sharif Abdul-Rahim and Jermaine O'Neal, like they were. That's when bigs meant something.
Yeah.
And Sharif was probably one of the. I didn't say he started, but he was coming about in that hybrid four kind of player.
Yeah.
Stephon Marbury dropped third, drop of a hat. That would be my second.
Starberry.
Third would be the 85 draft.
And shout out to Steph, man, for being named head coach of the China, one of the China basketball, one of the teams in the China basketball league.
They love Steph in China.
Right.
Love Steph in China. I would go the 85 class with number 3, just because they weren't as deep as the other two classes. And then I would go with that 03 class. LeBron, Wade, Chris Bosh, Carmelo Anthony, David West, Corver, Heinrich, Boris. And you also got to remember what was the boy Darko
Milicic. Yeah.
So,
We don't got to remember Darko.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask though. Like, which of those classes had the biggest bust? Because I think that has to say something for your class as well. So
84.
That's for Sam
84
Bowie.
had the biggest bust.
Sam Bowie was a bigger bust than Darko.
Yeah. 84 had the biggest bust of all of them.
Wait, hold on. What was? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember where Bowie got picked at.
He was number 2
Bowie
was number 2
before Michael.
No, and I think the reason why they call him a bust is because he was picked. Well, he was a bust first off.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that Portland passed on Mike is what amplifies his. This is not a word, but his bustedness. His bustedness.
Yeah, it definitely made it worse.
Yeah. His
But
busted.
if you look at it, you could almost say that who selected Darko?
Detroit.
And Darko was 2. Detroit.
Yeah.
He was
Darko was
Sam
2.
Bowie was 2.
They passed on Wade, Melo, Bosh. Like, I'd even took David West over damn Darko.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
It's with any draft. Hindsight is 2020.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, any draft. Because we drafted Cody Zeller instead of the Greek Freak. So, happens.
Yeah.
Dang.
I know, right?
Like that hurt a little bit when you said that. It was like getting a nice little paper cut with some lemon juice in it.
Yeah.
When you really thought about it, it's like, oh, wait,
Yeah, just
you
He
said
did
that out
pause.
loud.
I was like, ooh, damn, that's just true.
That hurted some.
Well, yeah, good question, Regular Scott, man.
We did that.
Yeah,
Great question.
Yeah, so we have to get you back on the show again soon, Scott, because I know your sports side doesn't get the show on Take a Knee. You're great at what you do, so we have to get you out of Oddsville for a little bit. But yeah, great question. Our second question comes from Carl in Columbia, South Carolina. West Coast J, starting with you. Who has the 3 best uniforms and who has the 3 worst uniforms in the NFL?
All right, I'm going to just start with the worst. The Pittsburgh Steelers, the jailbreak uniforms.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
the
Awful.
yeah.
The Dookie Browns from Cleveland. Awful.
All of Cleveland's uniforms are terrible. It don't matter.
And me personally, I cannot stand the highlighter Seattle Seahawks color rushes.
Right. Yeah.
Me personally. Now, I'm going to stick with the color rushes for the best, though.
Okay.
Because the all-white Saints with the gold numbers is cold.
Okay.
And then along the same lines, the all-white Raiders with the silver numbers is cold. The Chargers powder blues.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And let me think. Is that 3? That's 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll deal with that.
Okay. All right. Yosh, 3 best uniforms, 3 worst uniforms in the NFL.
Due to my team's suckdom, I'm no longer qualified to answer any questions on the NFL. I would.
What happened to the Dave Gettleman fan club?
The 3 worst uniforms are any Giants uniform, and the best uniforms are any uniform that is not a Giants uniform.
Wow.
Thank you and good night.
Wow.
All right. We'll talk to you again when the NBA starts. Al, 3 best, 3 worst.
So, I'll start with the worst too. So I hate those Steelers jerseys too. And the Dookie Browns ones. Those are my top 2. But I hate the powder blue Charger joint. So I ain't a fan of that. I get it. That's why I was like, damn, that made my list. It's just a little too bright for my taste on the NFL field. And so I like the Cardinals dark red jersey. I like that color for some reason. I also like when the Falcons rock their black jerseys. I've always liked that look. And then as a Cowboy fan, I always like our navy blue jersey just because how motherfuckers make us wear it some days and shit. So I just always like the blue Cowboy jersey too. So, but I think the worst out of all, the one that just sticks out, and I couldn't even come up with a name for the Duke Brown jersey, but I swear it's what popped into my mind with worse. I was like, that brown shit. Oh, I hate that jersey. I hate that look. But yeah.
Yeah, shout out to the Broncos and they awful brown one too.
Yeah. The Broncos did come with a brown jersey. That shit was terrible.
It was awful.
Yeah. Wow. Money, what say you?
All right, I mean, I gotta stay in uniform. I gotta go with the first 2. I've never seen anything so hideous as those Pittsburgh joints.
Yeah, this is horrible.
Those are the worst.
I can't even believe, I can't even believe them dudes wore that. Like,
the only break I could give them is that they were throwbacks, and like it ain't their regular uniform. Like I would hate to have an ugly ass regular uniform. So,
but that was their regular uniform.
That was a regular uniform. Cats came like, yeah, this is my joint, it's my jersey.
Right. No, a throwback implies that used to be their uniform.
No, I'm talking about it's a throwback now, is what I'm saying. So they don't wear them now. Like, I mean, I'm sure, like, if you go back to any style choice in the 50s or the 40s, you're probably going to think that shit whack. So I'm saying at least, like, now it's a throwback. Like, if it was their regular uniform, like, I know teams were like the Buccaneers got some ugly-ass regular uniforms now. That ain't throwback.
Yeah, that's just because that weird-ass red ain't quite red.
And they got, like, digital clock numbers. That's just weird. But, yeah. Go ahead, Money.
Oh, my bad. Quick shout out. Just my freshman year, Alvin. The baseball team, we had not our regular uniforms, but our warm ups. Boy, them shits was so ugly. Hey, Hey, they gave me the real, like, the gold was real gold. Like, hey, y'all gotta, I'm sure I got some pictures somewhere. I have to show them to you. But yeah, them shits were super ugly. Let's see. So I know how it is to have to wear something super ugly. Let me see. So, the Browns definitely, and I also really hate Tampa Bay's uniforms too, and a lot of that has to do with I really hate the Buccaneers. Uniforms that I really really like. Of course, I love the San Diego powder blue joints. I think them shits go so hard. The Carolina Panthers, we have a powder blue joint that we wear at home. I really love them joints, especially when we wear the black jerseys. I mean the black joints with them, the black pants. And our all black jerseys are pretty dope too. And I like the Redskins away joints for whatever reason. Like it's simple, but I really like. Maybe I just like the colors together. But
the Redskins when the Redskins wear that all burgundy, that shit is hideous, terrible.
Oh no, I don't. That shit is super ugly. I don't like that one.
Yeah. So they got like the amongst the best and amongst the worst.
Yeah, I could agree.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to Green Bay's horrible blue uniforms.
Yeah, them shit's horrible.
Yeah.
So one set of uniforms I really hate though, and this is like a regular uniform. I wish they would just update it. The Buffalo Bills got the worst uniforms in the league. I hate their fucking uniforms.
They look like a college team.
Yeah. It looked like some XFL shit. Like yeah, like
and honestly, what I've seen of the Jets' new jerseys, because they bringing new shits out, that was my first reaction. Like that shit looked like Oregon. Like it don't really look like XFL type shit. Yeah. But so we'll see how it looks on the field. But just what I saw online, I was just kind of like, I'm not really feeling it. But we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Thanks, Carl, for your question. Damn good question. I don't know. I don't really rank uniforms like that, but good question. So y'all want to have a question answered, address anything on the show? If you just disagree with anything we said and you want to clap back at us, hit us up on social media at GoDefyLife, or you can email us at info@GoDefyLife.com. We're going to step into a commercial right quick, and then we're going to come back and talk some NBA free agency, which y'all been waiting for. So we'll be right back. Relax. Are you into comics? I mean, seriously into all things comics? Well, lucky you needs to check out Take a Knee for Marvel vs. DC, where Regular Scott, Ozzy Killmonger, and V's discuss characters, movies, series, books, fan polls, and more. And you never know who may show up for an open mic. Just some blurs going deep and having fun. Take a Knee for Marvel vs. DC. New episode every Sunday. Brought to you by the Defy Life Podcast Network. Welcome back to the Defy Life Podcast, episode 114. It's JR Glymph here with Alvin Glymph, Gerald Hedrick, West Coast J, Yosh. That was Take a Knee for Marvel and DC. We spoke about them earlier when Scott asked this question. So, yeah, y'all definitely check out Take a Knee again with Regular Scott and Ozzy Killmonger. Guys, y'all ready to talk some NBA free agency?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Might as well do it.
Let's get to it. First off, the biggest news, well, since nobody knows what the hell Kawhi's going to do at this point, like, Kawhi's done the best job of keeping his thoughts amongst himself and his inner circle. I've never seen anything like more tight-lipped. Like, even, the NBA insiders have no idea what Kawhi's going to do. So kudos to Kawhi for keeping his lips sealed and apparently telling his team, if we have one leak, I'm firing everybody. So kudos to you, Kawhi. But
that's all.
Yeah, the biggest news as far as definite so far in free agency. We're gonna start with Al and Yosh's beloved New York Knicks. Now, of course, everybody from Stephen A. to the dude down the street that's a Knicks fan is up in arms about the Knicks not landing Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving and Zion, even back to the draft. Al, me and you spoke about this, and Yosh, me and you spoke about this. I just want to have you two have a Knicks conversation about where you think the Knicks are and what they did right, what they did wrong, just how you feel about it. You two Knicks fans, go at it.
Okay, who wants to go? You want to go first, Yosh?
Hold on, let me get some popcorn.
Yeah.
You want me to go first or you go first?
No, you go ahead.
Okay, so here's how I feel. I've been getting a lot of contacts over the last few days about what the Knicks did not do. And blamed for Kyrie deciding to go to the Nets, for Durant deciding to go to the Nets, for Zion getting picked by the Pelicans. It's just amazing to me how people are piling on. It's amazing to me that they're blaming them for even creating all this hype. When you really look at what's happened over the last 3 months, ain't nobody from the Knicks ever claimed we getting Kyrie, we getting Durant. That ain't never came out their mouth. Now, I'm sure they hoped it happened. Like, we always hope it happens. But this ain't the first time that major free agents have decided not to come to the Knicks, right? So that to me is just crazy to me, how they just pile on and just kind of create this thing. But everything being everything, like when I look at, would I have wanted the Knicks to have Kevin Durant on their team before the Achilles? Hell yeah. After the Achilles, well, then you got to think about how much is it costing. And when you talk about giving this brother the max, which I ain't mad at anybody making a paper. Get it while you can get it. So I ain't hating on nobody. But when you talk about the team I'm rooting for, and do I want to pay somebody almost $200 million for when you really think about it, you might get 3 years? Might. At best case scenario, you're getting 3 out of those 4. Realistically, you're getting 2.5 to 2 of the 4 of quality basketball at best. So you're talking about paying somebody almost $200 million, 3 to 2 years now? That just to me is just very, very risky when you don't know for sure what you're gonna get. So I'm happy that the team said we not really prepared to pay this dude that money. Like, that was their decision, because honestly, I thought that was a risk. I think that's a very risky call. And then when you look at Kyrie, now again, when he was thinking about coming to the Knicks, you know what? We could have needed the talent. The idea that he decided not to come to the Knicks, I'm all right with that too, because he has shown he is not able yet. He might be better as he grows, but at this point, as an NBA player, he hasn't shown the ability to lead young players. The Knicks are a very young team. So is that the type of guard that you want to lead this locker room this first year? You know you're going to have him lead in the first year, and who knows what type of role he'll play going forward. He hasn't shown to be that player. So as the Knicks fan, the idea that guy's not coming to the Knicks, I'm all right with that too. Then you look at what they got. Okay, Julius Randle, I liked him. I'm a Laker fan, so I've seen him from where he was as a rookie to who he is right now. I don't mind. I think that's a good young player to have on your roster compared to last year. Like, that's progress. R.J. Barrett, getting him in the draft, I like having him on my team. I think we're going in the right direction. Kevin Knox has been some timey, but he's still young. As y'all have seen over the last couple of weeks, I'm willing to give young players some time to grow, and that's what the Knicks have sold us as Knicks fans. They've said, yo, we trying something different. We not just going to throw money out there willy-nilly. We're going to build a squad from the draft, and when we get to the point where a great player decides to sign with us, cool. If we can trade for one, cool. But until then, fans, be patient. Mitchell Robinson, to me, I watched his rookie play last year. He has the ability to be one of the best big men in the league going forward. So I think we are assembling talent. So I understand the overreaction because Knicks are very passionate fans. But at the end of the day, I think we're in a much better place today than we were like last year. And I'll get on the Porzingis thing a little later in the show when we talk about the worst things in the free agency, because that's where I'm going. Porzingis to me was the worst deal in free agency. So I'm very happy he's not on our team. I'm very happy I don't have that deal on my team. So I think where the Knicks are right now, position-wise, no, we haven't attracted a top free agent yet. We will, we not. If not, develop the talent we got and keep going forward. And I like the direction we're going. I like our coach. I like our general manager. And at the end of the day, I think Jim Dolan gets a bad rap. Like, I while he's made some mistakes, who hasn't made some mistakes? And yeah, I just think there's a lot of overreaction in the media more than anything. That's where I think a lot of it is.
All right. Yosh, what say you, man, about your Knicks?
I kind of agree with everything that Al said. I'm gonna add to his point. I guess a piggyback on his points. Couple things. If anybody noticed, there's nothing in the next free agent class worth anything. Okay. So what the Knicks did with these signings is sign these guys to 2-year deals. Kind of to come together with those young guys, some veteran players that have been in the league for a little bit, maybe not too long, but they can grow a little bit, maybe get some next year's draft class. If everything plays out the way it is going to be pretty strong. And then 2 years from now, the projected free agents are Paul George at 31, which isn't bad. I don't like Gordon Hayward. Otto Porter Jr., not bad. The Greek Freak will be age 28 at that time. Victor Oladipo will be 29. So these are all guys that could come in and make an impact. Bradley Beal will be 28. So when you look at it like that, I was impressed. The thing that the Knicks impressed me the most with was what they normally would have done is, hell, they would have gave Julius Randle and Taj Gibson a 10-year, $300 million deal. And we'd have been tied into them for the next years. And it seems as though management this time around looked at what they had did in the past. We've been burnt by Antonio McDyess. We've been burnt by Carmelo Anthony. We've been burnt by Marcus Stoudemire. We've been burnt by, the list, Joakim Noah as of, the most recent gonorrhea. The most recent version of gonorrhea.
Even way back to Allen Houston.
Yeah, and then overpaid Allen Houston. You know what I'm saying? So, Latrell Sprewell, we don't get who we want, so we overpay. Yes, there was a plan in place. I think what happened was what ended up happening with the Knicks and Kyrie, according to what was reported on ESPN, the Knicks didn't want Kyrie. They were out on Kyrie. So they thought they could get KD just off of KD. But they weren't going to offer KD the max because of his injury and the fact that he's not letting teams see the doctor, the medical report. Nah, if you're going to sign me, you're going to sign me. Don't even worry about all that. What? Are you crazy? That's like saying, I think, Jay, you said it earlier. Was it you? No, CL said it earlier. It's like saying, hey, man, you're going to buy this car. We ain't going to let you see if there's an engine in it.
All right.
Go ahead and take this car home. Whatever's under this sheet, you just gonna take home. Give me that $100 million. You know, and that's just not smart. It's just not smart. And then so I had this argument with a guy, and I wouldn't say argument, a heated debate. And I said, he's like, well, KD shoots jump shots, so his Achilles is not going to affect, it's not going to be, you know, he could come back and just shoot jumps. I said, have you really watched him play? I said, and that's where I don't really like talking basketball with people. KD's jump shots come usually off the drive to a pull-up, which means you're stopping and starting very quickly, and you're jumping off of that. And that's coming from your heel up through your calf, especially when you plant. He's not going to be able to do that for 2 whole years. So you're giving him a max deal in the hopes that in year 3, he'll be 100%. Now, by that time, you're talking about somebody who's not a leader, who wants their own team, who wants to be the star, has been running the show for 2 years. Friend or no friend, Kyrie's going to be running wild. By that point, you're going to be able to hold. And he's in his home, and he in New York.
With the media.
With all his boys at the games.
Don't let them start losing at first.
Oh, God. That's it. You know, and then according to, I forget which report I listened to this morning, they were like, the Knicks were concerned with the way that Kyrie takes care of his body. Like, it was these little things, his leadership, him in the locker room, how he takes care of his body in the off seasons. Yes, he has skill. But at the end of the day, like, the intangibles are what, and then he's injury prone as well.
Yep.
So now you got 2 injury. The Nets. Now, if it works out for the Nets, kudos to you. I heard Max Kellerman talk about the Brooklyn Nets will take over New York. No, they won't. No,
They won't.
They won't. The Nets, to the people, in which I don't understand. I have never heard Stephen A. say it, but Max Kellerman says it. So it makes me question whether he's really from New York. Like, the Knicks are it. Like, the Nets are, because they were in New Jersey. Like,
right.
You know, at the end of the day, they're the New Jersey Nets. I don't care what nobody tells me. The logo's cool. I like wearing a Brooklyn Nets hat. But you're the New Jersey Nets. I will not be a fan. I've never been in the Barclays. And I live down the street from the Barclays. Never been in it.
Really, the New Yorkers that are Nets fans are usually from Brooklyn.
Yeah, no, exactly.
You know what? And they repping their
bro.
So some of them are like jump ship and they like, yo, or they not from New York. But real talk, most New Yorkers that I know who
are Knicks fans.
Are Knicks fans. And they look at it, they look at the Nets exactly how Yo said. Those are Nets from Jersey who came over to Brooklyn to play.
Yeah, because they couldn't get no fans in Jersey. You had a whole state to yourself and couldn't get no fans. So you came over here to steal some of our fans. But they'll never be that. So if this doesn't, now hindsight is 2020. If KD comes back and he's 100% and he's blowing stuff out the water, I still don't think the chemistry between him and Kyrie works. Me personally, from a basketball standpoint, I still don't see it working. But like, if you couldn't play, like, you felt like an outsider with Clay and Steph and Draymond, some of the most unselfish people on the planet, what do you think you're going to be with him?
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen?
If you catch feelings from people, you know, tweeting something negative or the media coming at you a certain kind of way, like, and this would have happened in New York with the Knicks as well. But I'm really curious to see how Durant deals with the sometimes negative response from fans and the media.
But
if you don't perform, he gonna hear it every time he don't perform.
But Al, think about it like this. I think it would have been different had he went to the Knicks. I think had he not performed and stuff like that, and just, I think it would have been perceived a little different had he been with the Knicks. The fact.
What do you mean?
I think that because if he came to the Knicks, it would have been without Kyrie, which means he was coming to, hey, I'm coming to save the franchise. I don't care about my friendships, this, that, and the third. This is what I'm coming to do. I'm here for you, New York, because everybody associates New York with the Knicks, basketball-wise. I'm coming here for you, New York. Now, you're in Brooklyn. That means you followed your homeboy. You felt like you needed help. You needed somebody else to do this. So the criticism, it's not only going to be about basketball, it's going to be about your decision and need to be with somebody else rather than coming over here and doing it for the city. You went over there to do it for the borough.
Right.
And people that's not from New York sometimes don't understand that. Like, you doing it for the borough. Yeah, you bigging up Brooklyn. Okay, cool. If you'd have went to New York, if you'd have went to the Knicks, you were doing it for the city.
Right. You'd have had New Yorkers. You'd have had the city of New York behind you.
Long Island, upstate. You know, there's nothing else. There's Syracuse basketball and the Knicks.
I mean, they would have gave him grief, but at the end of the day, we pulling for you. You know the city pulling for you.
Exactly.
The city is not pulling for you when you're playing for the Nets. That's not.
So now the city's not pulling for you. Now you're getting grief. Now you overhit your homeboy, and don't start losing when Kyrie on the floor. Now y'all ain't homeboys no more.
I mean, look at how the media treated players like Beckham in terms of like how he responds to injuries and just the scrutiny of when Odell was up there putting pressure on him to perform in different ways. And, you know, I just think it's going to be interesting with Durant in terms of, you know, are you bringing wins to the Nets? Did you come back from the injury fast enough? Like, they're going to go, well, when you coming back? You said 9 months? Okay, it's been 10 months. It's been 11 months. Oh, you're not playing this year? Okay, you know, it's just going to be a lot of scrutiny, a lot more than he's ever received. And to where, you know, you look at how the NBA Finals is with reporters. Well, that's how it is in New York City every day. You know, they come after a game. They're like 12 people in the locker room like, can we talk to you for a second? Golden State, I'm sure they're regular beat reporters, but it might be like 3 or 4 on a regular basis, even as the Warriors. New York City media, it's going to be crazy. So I'm looking forward to it because I got my popcorn ready.
Yeah, and I think, and on top of that, I think Brooklyn made a bad move of getting rid of D'Angelo Russell.
D-Lo is in the bag, and it's weird.
I know that they're all in on Kyrie, but I just feel like D'Angelo Russell, a little bit more size, you could push him off the ball if need be. Especially without KD for 2 years, a year, maybe a year and a half, you're going to need somebody else because what's going to happen if y'all start losing early? That's it. Like, what's going to happen? So that's my spill. I just, for all the Knicks fans that was upset and yelling and screaming because you didn't get KD, oh, well, hell shit, I would love to marry Megan Good, but guess what? That shit ain't happening right now.
And it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. Like, you know, I think the Knicks over the last 3 drafts have really accumulated some decent players. Like, so I know it's young and they young and it's taking some time for them to actually develop. But, I mean, you got 4 or 5 players that I'm looking forward to watch them play and see how they develop 2-3 years from now because I think they're going to be a interesting team to watch.
Yeah, Kevin Knox, RJ Barrett.
Yeah, they have some talent. They're going to be really good.
Yeah. And my thing is with the Knicks is, for one, as a non-Knicks fan who's paid a lot of attention to the Knicks over the years because I'm close to a lot of Knicks fans. I was proud of them for not just jumping out the window and trying to please people.
Yeah, committing suicide.
Because that's typically what they do is, you know, because they know the media is so harsh and they know their fan base is so passionate and they know they're trying to awake the sleeping giant, which, you know, with the history and the garden, like everything there. So instead of caving to that pressure, they said, look, we didn't get the guy we wanted and we weren't going to break our backs to sign a guy who we're not sure, you know, as Yosh said, what his injury, you know, his health future is going to be like. we're not going to jump out the window. We're going to play this safe. We're going to pay a really decent player as our top free agent, and Julius Randle. Pay him peanuts in comparison, and still get production year one. What I'm also impressed with the Knicks is they took that other money and filled out the roster with some really solid players.
And everybody the Lakers needed.
Right.
Taj Gibson.
Except for Kawhi.
I like Taj.
Henry Ellison.
All right.
Isaiah Hicks. They made some moves.
They solid. And what they did instead of, because as I told Yosh earlier off the air, is that's how you end up being the Hawks. And Al, I don't know if you remember, but 2 years ago, me and you and Keon talked about this. When the Hawks had Josh Smith and Joe Johnson and Josh Chill, like that whole crew, like they would pay dudes max money just so they could say they had a max player, even though he wasn't a max player. And so with what you do when you do that, what happens is you get a team just good enough to get into the second round and lose every year. So you don't get a lottery pick, but you still hamstrung by all these big contracts by dudes who aren't max players, but you pay them max money just so you can say, hey, we signed a max player. Like, no, max money don't make you a max player. So,
and I think that was strategic.
Right. And so what the Knicks did in deference to that is to say, you know what, we didn't get the top guy that we wanted, and we weren't even sure about him. So fuck it. Let's go. If we were not gonna win if we're not gonna win a championship with this core of young guys we got anyway, let's bring in some more solid dudes. And like Yo said, let's regroup in 2 years and go after another big dog. I'm good with that.
I'm good with that too.
That's the process.
It's really
people
smart.
are so used to Stephen A. Smith telling them what the fuck to do that they ain't got a mind of their own. And when Stephen A. say, "Oh, the Knicks," and I say Stephen A. as a representative of all the media of New York, when they tell them that the Knicks messed up, they believe it. But I'll say, like I posted on Facebook and on Twitter, these same people telling you that the Knicks are stupid for not giving Kevin Durant the max are the same motherfuckers who told you last year that DeMarcus Cousins was going to make the Warriors unbeatable. And that shit ain't happening. Because
and I
say it all the time. Achilles injuries are as undefeated as Father Time. That shit is going to come back to bite the Nets. And I keep saying it until one player comes back, the same player, after an Achilles injury.
Because that's the thing. Nobody has done it.
Right.
Nobody. And what's crazy is, like, the same, to your point, Jay, and what you're saying is that when it fails, they're gonna look at the Knicks like, "What was y'all thinking?"
No, they ain't even gonna say that. They gonna forget about it. They gonna try to make you forget that they said it.
They're gonna blame the Knicks for being stupid, and it's like,
yeah.
But when they didn't do it, y'all don't give them credit for being smart.
Right.
It's like you just can't win. They just can't win.
The point, listening to Stephen A., the point he brought up, he said the problem he had with them not giving KD the max was all the moves they made was to get KD.
Yeah, but that was KD.
In my
with
mind,
two good legs.
They made those moves for a healthy KD.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Those moves were made for a healthy KD.
Right. If that's the case, like, I don't like that logic. Because if that's the case, go sign DeMarcus Cousins. If that's the case,
DeMarcus Cousins can't pay somebody.
But before the injury, he would have been at the top of this free agent list. So would KD.
That's true.
So by that logic, just go sign a bunch of motherfuckers who was good before they got hurt. You know, sign Dwayne Wade. Sign all these motherfuckers that's old and hurt now. Like, no, you don't do that. And same thing with Kyrie is like, he's proven that he's not a one. He's a second fiddle, which is not bad. If Kyrie's your second, if he's your two on a championship team, great. But what's going to happen in and I was about to say New Jersey, Yosh, you got me fucked up. But what's going to happen in Brooklyn is, year one, the Nets are going to get a lottery pick because Kyrie's going to lead that team into the lottery like he does whenever he's the leader on the team because he ain't going to have another star with him. They're going to get another lottery pick. KD's going to take another year after he comes back to really get into form. And by that time, he's going to be 34, almost 35. What kind of form can Kevin Durant actually be in as a 35-year-old coming off an Achilles injury, which we've seen, as we talked about before, can create so much more breaking down of other body parts. I just don't get what I'm sorry, but after it's sports, and that's the risk you take. But at some point, damaged goods is damaged goods.
Damaged goods is damaged goods.
You spent almost $80 million, and you still haven't seen a high-quality, top-notch, top 10 basketball player yet. Right. 2 years into the contract.
Yeah.
So to me, it ain't even that you've paid a person that, because again, I don't begrudge nobody making their money.
Right.
What it really is, what's the downside as a fan is that money could have went to get other talent to make your team better. Right. So by the Knicks not investing $40 million in a Kevin Durant, now they're able to invest it in a Randall, a Taj Gibson, and put more Portis, put the money other places where it's going to actually be productive next season.
Right. And what that does for next season, like say trade deadline, those are expiring contracts you can use as assets.
That too.
And so you don't have to wait till free agency. If somebody comes up and says, hey, like Anthony Davis did this year, hey, I want to be traded. Those are assets you can use for trade bait, for expiring contracts, and get rid of them.
I didn't further down this list, but some free agents in 2 years: Jason Tatum, De'Aaron Fox.
Oh wow!
Yeah, no, they're not gonna. No,
I don't know what's gonna happen. Shoot, people say Durant. You never know what's gonna happen with free agency. Right. I'm just saying these are people that are gonna become available.
Sacramento is very, very, very high on De'Aaron Fox.
And I'm not listen.
But is Fox high on Sacramento?
Right.
I'm not saying
we'll see anybody high on Sacramento.
Right. Yeah, my point is, I'm not saying that they will leave. I'm not saying that Sacramento might not offer them. I'm just saying that they are available.
Yeah.
And so if you're gonna,
and they're healthy, as we know now.
And they're healthy. And then at that point, if the Knicks are not as high, because right now they're trying to see what they're going to do with Dennis Smith Jr. Shit, if at that point, if he's available, if De'Aaron Fox is available, he's a better option than Dennis Smith Jr.
All right.
Or not. So you said, we'll see what he looks like in 2 years because I forgot about him. But young dude was putting up points.
Yeah, he could play.
He first came to the team. So allow that dude to get a jump shot. Allow that dude to maybe learn how to play a little more defense, run the team a little better. He got athletic ability at the gym.
Who, Dennis Smith?
Dennis Smith, yes.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I wouldn't have picked up Kyrie if I had a young Dennis Smith. Well, he is young, but
but so is the whole team. So it's like now you allow a Dennis Smith, Barrett, Knox, Mitchell Robinson. You allow them to grow, develop with Randall on the team.
They can be the Denver Nuggets in a couple years.
Exactly.
And that's what I'm saying. So if like I said, like Jay said, with all these people jumping out the window and getting angry, like 2 years from now, I want them to play back all this stuff. Relax. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know, and think about it. If you got a team that does everything right, and you're showing, management is showing that hey, things in New York have turned. You now are able to attract free agents.
Yeah.
Denver.
There's a good coach.
And Denver is a great shout out because when you look at the Knicks with their talent, all you're really hoping for is 2 of those 4 or 5 players. Just give me 2 who are all-stars.
And I think R.J. Barrett is better than what they give him credit for. Honestly,
and even if he's not, you deserve the time to find out.
Right. This is what I love more than anything about the draft is that the third pick consistently has been something special.
Right. Yeah.
Like no matter in all the draft classes that we had to rank a minute ago, The third pick in 03, Melo. The third pick in 96, Sharif Abdul-Rahim.
You lost
In
me the first
84, MJ. I mean,
Nah,
Melo
man.
was still, no matter
Nah.
how much you dislike MJ, Melo was one of the best pure scorers the game has seen.
You're right. I'm fucking with you. You know, anytime I get to take a shot at Melo, I'm going to do it. But,
Oh, no.
but yeah, you're right.
Yes, he does.
But yeah, man, I don't know. But West Coast J, you stepped in just in time. So I saw an article on ESPN today that said, why does the fall of the Warriors dynasty seem
Hilarious.
so abrupt?
I'm literally reading that article while y'all was talking. That's hilarious. It seems abrupt for a number of reasons. Mostly, they're injury based.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly, just because had we won, had everybody been healthy and we won, then it wouldn't seem like this was a collapse.
All right.
All of the things that are happening in free agency could have continued to happen. We would have, Kevin would have gone to go wherever he's going to go be Kevin. And we would have still tried to re-sign Clay and all the et ceteras. I thought Sean Livingston was going to retire. I'm glad he's not at this point. But why does it seem so abrupt? Because the team was free-flowing. The team moved so quickly that everything seems to have come to a screeching halt. But D'Lo, getting D'Lo back for Kevin was unexpected.
Right. What do you think his fit is?
Let it stay that way. I got some news for you. They're not going to keep D'Lo.
I don't think they are either, but the fact that we got something for it
but they can't,
is the part that's unexpected.
They can't trade him until December 15th.
No.
So they can't flip him immediately. So he's going to have to find a way to fit in for the short term at minimum.
Well, for the short term right now, him and Steph in the backcourt, I'm fine with that because they could still be 1-2.
Yeah.
They're still on 1-2.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So from a talent standpoint, he's definitely talented. I'm just saying for fit-wise, because if you look at his history and even this year when he, excelled and had an all-star season,
yes,
he's a guy that's used to playing with he's a ball-dominant player.
Yes, and that's like fine.
Kyrie Light, in a sense.
Yeah, but with this Warriors team, that's fine. If you watch them play frequently, Steph gives the ball up and then goes down court for their offense frequently. So the D'Lo can the Warriors are predicated on ball movement more so than anything else, and D'Lo can pass the ball.
Yes, he can, and he does.
And he does.
And so on the surface, I see what and that's what I was getting at, because when you look at the trickle down effects, right? So the money that they spent on D'Angelo, that's money that they don't have to spend on, because Sean Livingston's not retiring, but they probably not going to bring him back. Iguodala's gone, Quinn Cook is gone. They can't afford him. So a lot of those pieces that allowed Steph to give up the ball and play off the ball so much are gone now. So that's that, and I'm genuinely asking, because I'm not sure. On a night in and night out basis, are you going to change what you do for D'Angelo Russell?
I don't think they have to. It's really what it's boiling itself down to. So like I said, Livingston didn't retire, so he is most likely going to be waived, which is going to turn it into a Curry, D'Lo, Draymond 1-2-3. Right. Dre at the high post and Steph and D'Lo on the wings doing perimeter things. What I think is going to happen more so than anything else is I think Steph is going to adjust his game and become more of the slasher that people keep acting like he's not. Steph gets to the rim almost at will pretty consistently, and unless he's being double teamed, and if he's being double teamed, well, there's a 38% 3-point shooter that's hanging out there.
Right. Or unless
You
Fred
can't
Van
just-
Vliet's guarding him. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Or unless Fred got him, right? Like that's, that's still a little.
I think it
that's
was
still a
good for
little
them to
bit.
get for Looney to come back.
Yeah, it was.
It was
Like,
definitely good for, and we also just signed Willie Cauley-Stein out of Sacramento.
like
Sacramento.
that.
Yeah, that was a nice
That was a
pickup.
really good move.
You know, we got a big man that runs the floor, a la a better Jordan Bell, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Cauley-Stein's solid.
protects the rim.
Yeah.
Right, he
Yeah,
protects the rim,
Cauley
too.
Stein's like he's like a younger JaVale McGee.
Yeah, I mean, but he runs the floor is the key. Like the whole, like I said, the Warriors' entire existence that we've seen, the championship level, all of that has been predicated on ball movement and off ball movement.
Right.
It's been predicated on motion.
Right.
Like as long as we have people that run. Like, so I was back home last year. One of my favorite things was listening to Jordan Bell gave an interview as a rookie. So everybody was healthy. This was a championship season. And so at one point, the local reporters asked him, Jordan, what's it like being a Warrior, being a rookie on this Warriors team? And Jordan Bell said, well, you run hard every play, and then you pass it to one of the light-skinned dudes or the skinny dude.
Right.
And, like, the skinny dude is gone. One of the light-skinned dudes is hurt. But the Warriors' identity, I don't feel like has changed. Like, more so than anything else, what I'm hoping, and again, this is a hope, like one of those pipe dream type hopes, but with Iggy going to Memphis is supposed to buy him out. I'm hoping we get an Andrew Bogut situation where we just get him back randomly later.
Well, they already said he's going to L.A.
He's going to go.
He's going
Yeah,
to the Lakers.
And in which case, I'm not mad at Andre Iguodala either.
No,
That
absolutely.
make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Go to where he can consistently continue to win as being himself.
So as a Warriors fan, like I know you said, like their identity hasn't changed, but there's like championship identity. Is that like in question at all? Like, we talked about this a lot of times. The last 3 years, we knew that you could sleep for 6 months and know that the Warriors are going to be in the finals. Is that the same identity? Or because I saw a ridiculous article today also that said, why the Warriors won't make the playoffs. I think that's ridiculous.
No, that's ridiculous. Like I feel like that's out of the question. The Warriors are going to be in the playoffs. We're no longer going to be the 1 seed. So basically with the Warriors, until Clay is back fully and all of all the chips have settled. Everything's settled down. Kawhi is wherever Kawhi is, and we all know what the teams are. We'll have a way better idea because right now Kawhi is the only reason why I can't give you a legitimate here's where the Warriors will fall. But they are definitely going to be in the top 8 in the West.
All right, I think that's disrespectful to say that Curry and Draymond not gonna make the playoffs. Like
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like that's so like I'm like they can miss me with that nonsense, but they're definitely going to be in the top 8 in the West. And barring any other significant injury to anybody else, you know what I mean? But where they're going to fall exactly depends specifically on where Kawhi ends up.
Right.
Like at the end of the day, he's still the chip, the last domino to fall is still him. And when we find out where he's going, well, we'll have an idea of what the season should look like.
Right. And my take on it right now is, and this is just my opinion, but if it's taking this long, I think they got to be worried. Like,
I think everybody should be worried, really, except for the Lakers. Like, I think, to me, the delay leans to me. If I'm the Lakers, I'm feeling better with the delay. The longer it takes, the better we feel we are in this situation. Because to me, it's a lot of rethinking going on, and it's like, am I sure? Am I sure? Am I sure? That's what's going on right now. So
it's like I said to the homie the other day, and he was like, well, they're talking about Kawhi may go to the Lakers. I said, and he would be silly not to consider that. Like the idea of it, if you think of it from a NFL or from a football perspective, the idea of in either direction you have LeBron as the middle linebacker, and either Kawhi is your safety or AD is your safety.
Right.
On defense, that's silly.
Right.
On offense, that's sillier.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
He gotta, yeah.
You have to, at the very least, consider it.
Right. And the fact that, his people repeatedly called Magic until they got him on the phone while Magic was in church. Like, that's some serious intent to me. Like,
right. On top of that, you also get, no matter what, you also get Kawhi's James Jones in Danny Green.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And Danny Green is just Kawhi's James Jones.
Right. And you may get LeBron's latest James Jones and Kyle Korver. So that's shooters right there in both of them.
Right.
Like, and granted, like you said, everybody else who was on the Lakers wish list is in the Knicks uniform right now.
Yeah, the Knicks signed everybody.
But I think the Lakers is, honestly, the Lakers right now is focused on Kawhi like they should.
Right. And
if I'm the Lakers, on full court press, we ain't doing much until we figure this out. Because if he's even thinking about us, you got 100% attention.
Absolutely.
What do we have to do to get you with us, son?
Real quick.
I'm here right now. What do we got to do to get you in the Lakers uniform?
Let me ask you guys a question. Let me pose a question. I guess not much of a question, but who do you meet with on Monday? He met with the Clippers, right?
Right.
Who do you meet with today? He met with the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
Who does he meet with later this week?
Toronto.
The Raptors.
But before the Raptors, there's another meeting set up.
Who's he meeting with?
Now, I'm not saying that there's any chance in hell it would ever happen, but the fact that he's even taking the meeting, I think is a positive sign. We ain't going to get him, but he does meet with the Knicks. He meets with the Knicks later.
Oh, that's just because that's on the way back to Toronto.
He has a meeting with the Knicks.
That's because you got a layover in Toronto, in New York.
You got a layover in New York.
They're gonna meet him
They're
gonna meet him at the airport. Is what they.
No, they're going to him. They're going to Southern Cal to meet with him.
Nah, I'm messing with you.
I'm not saying it'll happen. Yeah. But with the fact that nobody knows anything,
right?
Like it wouldn't. Like how many people would be shocked by it?
That ain't gonna
Every
happen.
damn body. Man.
I'm not saying that it will. I'm just saying with the way Kawhi has been carrying himself, you would go, oh, I could see him doing that.
I still think we speak in pipe dreams again.
No, I'm saying that it's anything that would happen. But of all the teams that wanted to meet with him, everybody figured it's an LA team that's going to get him, right? Or he's going to stay in Toronto. The fact that the Knicks even have a meeting.
Yeah.
I always say, with the interview, I'll get the job. That's me.
Yeah, I think that's a positive.
The fact that they even got
right, yeah, it's absolutely positive. But
I don't know the possibility.
Yeah,
but the meeting means,
like, from outside looking in, like that would make absolutely no sense.
Oh, it wouldn't. I'm not saying it would.
Yeah, I'm saying I agree with you that it's a positive for the Knicks, absolutely, that he even took the meeting. I'm just saying, like, the only reason Toronto's still in the running is because he just won a championship there. Kawhi's biggest motivation has been to get back to the West Coast, and so being that the Knicks don't have either of those, don't make sense.
Yeah, of course. But I don't want to see the thought of there being parity in the league. I was beginning to enjoy.
Right,
Yeah.
I was too.
But there's never been parity in the league.
No, I think that there has been prior to the in the last decade or two, probably not. But I think that
decade or two.
No. You're talking about
40 years.
I mean, there've been, you got the Bulls, you got the Celtics, you got the Magic, but you're talking about series that were the seasons that you didn't go into a season saying that team's going to win. And when LeBron and them got together, people said the Heat's going to win. Did they win the first one? No. But then they ended up reeling off 2. Then, then it was the Golden State era. When KD went there, that team's going to win. If Kawhi goes there, nobody's beating them.
But yeah, that's been the history of the league, though.
But why? But at that point, I already have a problem watching the NBA. Why am I going to watch it now?
But what I'm saying, Yosh, is that's no different than the NBA you watched in the 80s or the 90s. It's been that way since
no,
the.
So you mean to tell me Jay, those series then weren't more evenly matched than these series now?
That's exactly exactly what I'm telling you. One, because you can go back. Okay, Yosh. Let me know when you're done, and I'll tell you.
I'm listening.
Okay. No, you're not actually. But what I'm saying is,
I am listening to you.
Go back to the '60s. Who won 8 straight championships in the '60s?
Celtics.
Right. You go to the '70s. How many teams won championships in the '70s? 3. Go to the '80s. What teams do you think about in the '80s? Who won championships in the '80s? The majority.
Lakers and Pistons.
Lakers and the Celtics.
And the Celtics.
In the
Lakers,
90s.
Pistons,
Nope. The Pistons didn't win their first one until 1990.
Okay.
They won back-to-back, 90 and 91. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So then the Bulls won 6 of the next 8 championships.
And then you had Houston and the Spurs.
Right. And the Spurs was in the after the Bulls run. Right?
Yeah, they was
in between the Bulls run, the Rockets won both of them. So that's 2 teams in the 90s that dominated that stretch.
But I wouldn't say, you say Michael Jordan, you wouldn't say, I wouldn't say complete and utter domination because those series were struggles. Like those series, they were good basketball to watch.
But when Chicago was running,
still WWF move in them.
People conceded the season to Chicago.
Right.
When
there
Chicago
was no parity.
People was like Chicago got it. We know ain't nobody.
So you're saying y'all saying then it's the same amount of parity. There's the same lack of parity there is now.
I'm not saying it's the same. I'm just not saying it was better back then.
This decade, you got the Warriors and LeBron.
You look at the history of the league.
You got the Warriors and LeBron.
Right. Do you know 6 teams have won 70% of the championships in the NBA history? 6 organizations have won 70% of the championships. There is no parity in the NBA.
What I'm saying, Jay, is to me, and each person has their own opinion. I preface my statement by saying that I had a lot more joy as far as watching competitiveness, basketball-wise, than I do now.
Oh, yeah. Now, you say enjoyment. I can't gauge your enjoyment, but I can only look at parity by definition.
And I'm looking, and of course, as you do, but I just think then there was a lot more. It was the differential between. Okay, plain and simple. If Kawhi goes to the Lakers, they're going to win for as long as he's there. They're going to win every championship for as long as he's there.
Well,
there's nobody
barring injury.
The 3 of them are together. Nobody's beating them.
Barring injury, I agree.
So I'm going to watch it. Why?
But that's like Al just said. Beginning of every season in the 90s, what did everybody say? The Bulls going to win again. We fooled ourselves into thinking, man, the Knicks going to beat the Bulls this year. I fool myself in that shit every year. But they got to beat them in a 7-game series. That shit's not happening.
Knicks, the Cavs.
Right.
They were Indiana. You talking about.
But who beat them? Nobody.
Took them to 7.
And what was we saying as fans? Yo, Michael got it. There were people who took them 5 games, took them 6 games, took them 7 games. Same thing with Golden State. Golden State has had their shit. Golden State, there's been Houstons that have pushed them.
The Clippers this year.
You know what I mean? It happens. But,
but did you really think that they were going to lose?
Did you really think the Bulls were going to lose?
Oh, no. Listen, I ain't going to front. As a Knicks fan.
Oh, that's different, bro.
That's
different. Yes. We was Knicks fans. We was hoping, and we thought Patrick was going to do it. It wasn't
even
year.
hope. There were games where I was like, "Yo, we going," and I was a big time Michael Jordan fan. I was like, "Yo, we going, man, this one, we gonna get it."
But they didn't.
Right.
And they didn't because they had the Bulls had the best player on the planet.
Yeah, but
But
what I'm saying is, it don't matter why.
Now you're going to have three. Okay, so what?
Now
team
we're
has
discussing why there was no parity
in the league at the same time.
So now we're discussing why there was no parity back then. Because regardless of the reason, there still was no parity. Whenever that Bulls team was together in full strength, nobody was beating them. Whenever that Spurs team in the late 90s, early 2000s, when they had the Twin Towers, nobody was beating them unless somebody got hurt or unless somebody just had a really magical year for one season. Then
So y'all
right back to San Antonio.
Kawhi in LA? Like everybody will be fine. Like everybody's joyous about what it'll do for the league.
I mean, I'm a Laker fan.
It don't
so
do shit for the league
like
because the league has always been that way.
All right.
Yeah.
What team is name the that people like to think like the big three on any team has just been created. That shit goes way back to the beginning of the league. Like there's always been a big three on every team, or sometimes a big four. It that's how the NBA is a star-driven league, and the more teams the team that has the most stars usually wins. That's just how it goes, and that's just the history of the league.
Jay, I would like to say you are a great orator, and you have mastered the art of argumentation.
I'm not. I
don't know.
Okay. West Coast Jay, did we not discuss the same thing last week?
Yeah, but still, that was beautiful.
All right. I think that's Yosh's way of saying, Jay, you're right. So
No, that's not Yoshi's way of saying that. That's not Yoshi. I'm just saying when I go back to teach my class, I'm going to use some of these episodes of argumentation.
No, I'm asking you questions. I'm asking you to prove me wrong. And again,
Jay,
you're not
say
answering my question.
Change my mind.
Right, change my mind.
Jay, look.
You basically saying make America great again. So at what point was the?
I am not saying make America great again.
Yes, you are.
Make the NBA
great again.
That's
I'm not
basically what
saying
you're
make
saying.
America great again.
So I'm asking
Let's
you
go
at
back to
what
the good old days.
I'm asking you at what
okay,
point
let me
was
say
there
this,
all
let me say
this
this.
parity where we went into the league biting our nails like, oh shit, who gonna win the finals?
I'm not saying that it was a bite your nails situation, but I do feel like there was more parity then. It was the gap between the best team and every other team in the league was the gap was way tighter than it is now. Than it is with these guys that are going, okay, look, I want to get a ring. I'm going to go over there with these guys. I thought the KD move to Golden State was one of the weakest moves ever done.
Yeah, of course it was.
And I think that I'm not saying Kawhi to LA would not be a weak move, but
Sure.
I'm like, how could it not be? How come it if one is weak, they all weak. But it ain't about.
No. The reason why I'm gonna tell you the difference. KD got that's like getting jumped by a gang and going to join that gang so they don't jump you no more.
That's why I think it's weak.
That was a KD move. That's what I equate KD's move to. That nigga beat my ass, I'm gonna go be his friend so he don't beat my ass again.
But I'll never. That's why I think it's weak.
2 rings.
Right.
I mean,
never fault somebody.
I don't look at it like that. I guess I just looked at it as
for joining the best team. Like that's smart.
You joined 22-10 team. What did you think was going to, as one of the best players on the planet? What did you think was going to happen?
Like
you're gonna win. But that's what all these players are looking for: an opportunity to be in a better winning position. That's what they're doing. They traded up.
Right.
Nah, bro. I'm gonna give you. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you, and it is just me. I had an opportunity last week or the week before last. I got contacted by one of the best players in the state. They want to transfer to my school. Honestly speaking, I said, you might need to stay where you are. Reason being, you could ruin what we have already done. And I didn't tell him this or his parents. It was just, I feel like if you would have come earlier in your career, maybe your freshman year, this, that, and the third. But you're about to be a senior, and the only reason you're coming here is because you know schools come in and out of our gym. Me inserting you, I'm not going to be able to insert you into the lineup and this, that, and the third. My philosophy on transferring and changing and this, that, and the third, I think you ride with what got you there and do the best you can to get over the hump. KD them took the Warriors to 7 games, and if you make a couple of shots in the fucking fourth quarter, you going to the dance and not the Warriors.
Now I agree with that part that was weak because you joined the team that just beat you.
You
came back
joined the team that just beat your ass.
However,
Kawhi, I don't see it as a weak move. I just see it as you could stay, like, even if he stays in Toronto.
Yeah, but
That's not a bad
situation. It's apples to oranges to compare. Like,
I wouldn't compare the two. I would say that's a weak move.
No, I'm saying it's apples to oranges to compare high school transfers to professional athletes in free agency.
I agree with that. And I also think that, to me, if one is weak, they all is weak. But that being said, I ain't got a problem with people changing and trading up. If that's because it's their decision, their profession, is their life, I ain't got no problem with it. But yeah. I think I sit more in the camp where, because I appreciate persistence, I appreciate resilience and grit. I do appreciate that player or person who is like, yo, I'm not just going to trade up just to trade up. I'm going to stick and figure this shit out. That matters to me as a fan, as a person. I just like that shit. But
I'm saying, like,
I just feel like if one is weak, they all is weak, because who cares what was last year? I'm trying to get to the better situation. And if the better situation is a team that I lost to, yo, if you don't let that stop you from trading up.
And at the end of the day, I'm going to be honest with you, because I don't think nobody's just flat out saying it, but I'm just going to say it. I'm a lifelong Lakers fan for the last 8 months. Fuck it. I want Kawhi.
Bring Kawhi. And I've always liked Kawhi. If he comes to the Knicks or the Lakers, it's going to be a good day for Alvin Glymph, because I like him as an athlete, and I would love for him to be playing for a franchise that I root for.
I think that he can get players to come play with him. He doesn't need to go play with anybody.
Not in Toronto, he can't.
Yeah, he got Danny Green.
And here's a chance to pick your team.
Right.
Like, yo, if you got a chance to play with LeBron and Anthony Davis, like that has to be at least considered.
And I'll say this. And I'll say this because I want to hear
three in the water boy.
And I want to hear what Money got to say about Charlotte. So I'm gonna say this: at the end of your career, you can ask Charles Barkley, Dan Marino, all these
Karl
dudes
Malone.
who never got a ring. They're gonna shit on you for
Gary
not getting
Payton.
a ring. So why not let them shit on you for getting one?
He got 2 on his own, though.
But I'm saying, then they're gonna say you only got 2, and you ain't as good as this guy who got 4. LeBron got 3. They say he ain't great as Michael because they gonna always grade you on what you didn't do. So why not just go do it anyway and let them talk shit anyway?
And to be part of the NBA history legacy, to be on a, like, to me, like, if they would have played together, that would be a very special era in the NBA. I don't like they would just be from the basketball sense. Like,
think about how the Warriors looked. Like, you can't deny that watching the Warriors when they were a year or two ago, and you had Katie, Steph, Clay, Andre Iguodala, and Draymond Green running the ball constantly, never touching the floor.
Yeah.
Everybody back on defense. Like, think about how pure that basketball felt. Now, put Kawhi with LeBron and AD. Nobody is mad at watching that. Like, you can act like you are, but that's going to be beautiful ball.
I'm not acting like I'm mad at watching it. I don't want to see. I just don't want to.
So were you not pissed when you saw Magic, Kareem, and James
Worthy?
No, I really didn't watch them.
Were you not pissed when you saw Michael, Scotty, and Rodman? Like, everybody, like
Steve Kerr, the Tony Kukoc, any of them.
Wow. Gordon,
I'm just telling you. I'm just as a
right. Like, it's.
They always come in threes, man. Like, they always come in threes.
Listen, the thing that I enjoyed with Golden State was the brand of basketball they played. They played basketball the right way.
And who's to say that the Kawhi couldn't do that with AD and LeBron?
I don't think we're going to get the same brand of basketball like we got from them with that three. I think it's going to be a dominant game, but it's not going to be the same brand of basketball.
It might not be the same, but it could be just as beautiful. Like, it's not going to look the same because you got not only three of them,
different system,
three different players. Like, and you got, first of all, you got LeBron, who's probably, arguably the smartest IQ-wise basketball IQ. He may be the smartest person in the league, including coaches.
Other than Andre Iguodala.
Andre Iguodala's in that conversation too. He's a very smart basketball player, but he's also going to be a Laker, so that also adds to the beauty. Now, Kawhi is also in that conversation as one of the smartest basketball players in the league. So I don't think it's going to be a bad brand, right? So I don't think it's going to be tough for it not to be a good brand of basketball. Now, maybe like the Miami situation where it takes them a little while to gel and fill each other out. But that's even different because Bosh and LeBron were joining D Wade's team, so it's kind of like a passing. Like D Wade had to kind of pass off a lot of those, delegate a lot of things to LeBron and give up his team. Basically, LeBron's been there
running a relay,
right? Like LeBron's been there 1 year. There's no really like team to pass on, and LeBron's a lot later in his career.
So they just gave up the whole team,
right? So everybody's starting there. So I don't know. I think it could be beautiful, but
I think it will be if he decides to sign with the Lakers. I think that's going to be it's going to be a brand of beauty we haven't seen in some time.
We just agreed to disagree.
The NBA is going to start printing money,
because the Lakers are back.
And you speak of printing money. How genius of a move is it for LeBron to give AD number 23? So now LeBron gonna have the top selling jersey in the league again,
and the top selling throwback.
We'll see.
And the top
AD
seller.
gonna have a
exactly. That's what I'm saying. If AD doesn't beat him out, and if Kawhi goes, they gonna have the top 3 selling jerseys in the league. But I don't know. I mean, I feel what you're saying, Yosh. You want to enjoy watching it. I just think that, like, back when, like, in the 90s, I look back on it, I was fooling my fucking self thinking the Knicks were going to beat the Bulls. Like, I looked in the 2000s, I was fooling myself into thinking somebody was going to beat the Spurs. I just think now I'm just, like, resigned to the fact that there is a best team in the league, and I'm not going to fool myself. Like, I wasn't going to fool myself into thinking J.R. Smith and Kyle Korver was going to beat the Warriors the last 3 years.
Hey, come on. J.R. Smith and Kyle Korver are awesome.
Right. But they're not that awesome. So,
Kyle Korver's part of the 2003 draft class.
Now, I would have loved to see, like, the injuries not take place in Golden State and have that team still healthy match up against a Kawhi, LeBron, and AD. And Kuzma. We tend to forget about Kuzma. He's a player.
I love Kuz.
Okay. And I still think in the West, a very, very competitive West, you have a Denver that's improving.
Right.
You have a Utah that's improving.
Yeah.
Are they
You'll still have
team with Kawhi?
No, I don't think they'll beat the Lakers.
No, they're not.
Will it be competitive in series? Like, I don't think they sweeping those teams.
Right.
I don't know.
They probably are sweeping those teams.
I don't think they are.
But not
the West
like
is
even
a heavyweight
Golden,
fight, man.
yeah, even
Yeah,
Golden
the
State
West is
in their best season, best championship
Wasn't
season.
sweeping folks.
What they
Right.
they went. I mean, they
We
swept
went
a lot
7.
of
New Orleans took us 7 a couple years ago.
people. Right.
The West,
Okay,
the
well,
West is a hard
They
war.
didn't have the one of the best on the ball defenders and one of the best help side defenders.
That's
Yeah,
what
they
I'm
did.
saying.
They did. They
I'm
had.
about to say, yes,
they had
did.
Clay. That Clay is one of the
And
best
Draymond.
on-ball defenders, and Draymond is one of the
defensive
best.
player of the year.
Okay.
Right.
All right. We
they did.
okay. I'm done.
With Kevin Durant
So-
and Steph Curry.
Okay. Steph Curry couldn't defend me in a phone booth.
No,
But-
I'm just saying.
Steph Curry don't play D.
as
Let's not
other
mention
players-
Steph and D ever
Right.
again.
Yeah, let's not bring his name up in defense at all.
No,
Okay,
no,
but we
I'm
just
not
gave
saying
you two of the best
I'm just
defenders
saying
in the league, and you say, okay, I'm
who
done.
their roster was. They had these two great defenders
Right.
in Klay Thompson and Draymond.
But I don't think they're as good. Clay and Draymond are not as good as Kawhi and LeBron defensively.
So my argument
Here's
to
the
that is
reason
going to
Yeah, because LeBron's not an elite defender.
be, yeah, my argument
He's
to
an
that
elite, he's an
immediately.
elite help defender. He's an elite help
Yeah,
defender.
he's an elite help defender.
Yeah, he's an elite help defender.
And a lot of that has been because
No.
of out of
He
necessity.
wasn't last season. He was
And
not
he
last.
was not last season. You're right.
Nor the year before, but he's getting older. Like, so
And a
yeah.
lot of that has been out of necessity. But I don't always say that. Like, there's not a player in the league, and even you look at Kawhi this year, Kawhi wasn't the elite on-ball defender, game in and game out as he's been in the past because he has so much other stuff on his plate. Like, when you got to be the best scorer, the best rebounder, the facilitator, you got to do all that. Sometimes, it's okay to take
The
a few
defensive legs,
Right.
yeah, your defensive legs
Exactly.
suffer.
And so that's
But
what kind of
I
happened with
would
LeBron
argue-
in Cleveland, and the second stint in Cleveland up till now was just so much that he has to do. A lot of that is out of necessity is why he's not that great of an on-ball defender.
And that's fair. And I would also argue that Clay, Andre Iguodala, and Draymond Green, those three I'd put up against defensively against just about anybody.
Yeah, and that's including AD. AD's a great defender too. So
Yes, he is.
but I would put those three up against anybody defensively. Are we just talking about defensively?
Just playing D.
Right. But I don't know. Money. You mentioned Kemba Walker earlier. So you in this boat by yourself, homie. Ain't no other Charlotte fans here.
Hey, I like the Hornets.
I wanna
cool because y'all talk long enough, so it's cool.
but I want to get your thoughts on Kemba leaving Charlotte and what he meant to the city, and what you're expecting. Who did they replace him with?
Oh, and I also have an additional question with regard to the Boston Celtics, but go ahead.
Terry Rozier.
Terry Rozier, right. So what do you what's your tribute to Kemba? What do you expect for him in Boston? What do you expect from Rozier in Charlotte?
So my thoughts are we're really capped. Like
I told you Kemba was leaving the. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I agree. I got mixed feelings. I feel like 1 year of the luxury tax wasn't going to kill our owner. I feel like we could have given Kemba, the team was trying to give him somewhere in between the 160 and 167 range, which I think is a fair offer. But I think Kemba wanted more like 180 from us. And I feel like maybe you give it to him, you go into the luxury for this season, all those other bad contracts come off the books, and then you can start your rebuild next season. But like ultimately, like you just don't let Walker leave without something in return. And I just think of, bad organizational strategy altogether. Kemba Walker, man, the heart and soul of the city, the team. He's a leader in the locker room. Boston's getting a quiet assassin, man. They're getting, honestly, I think he's going to be even better in Boston, whereas the difference between him and Kyrie is Kemba's not selfish at all. And he's not going to go to Boston and make those young guys feel like they're a microcosm of him. He's going to bring them under his wing and he'll definitely help them out. So I think his numbers are going to explode. Here in Charlotte, he was basically double teamed, hedged, wedged, boxed and one, zoned. Every team, every night in and night out, did everything they could to neutralize him, and you just can't. His handles are amazing. He's too quick. He wrote a really, really great thank you to Charlotte, and kind of like I think it's called "What's Next." Well, actually, it's called "Let's Do This," Boston. Let's do this, and it really made me just say, "Wow, we really lost, man. We lost a franchise caliber guy, man.
You lost a champion, man.
Yeah, I'm happy for him, because I know he's frustrated, and when you're used to winning, like Cam always says, you show me a winner that's, you show me a player that's okay with losing, and I'll show you a loser. Like he just wants to win, and so I don't knock him. Go succeed, have fun, get some of that stress and pressure off your back, and but Boston isn't Charlotte. It's a little bit different culture, and his how like LeBron in Cleveland was used to, like his mom, there was nowhere in Quicken Loans Arena that his mom couldn't go, and then when he went to Miami, that became like a thing. Mm-hmm. Kemba's kind of got this. His family is just so used to having run of everything. I think in Boston, I'm not sure that they're going to get that type of. Right. I mean, he's been here 8 years, so I think there'll be some things that he'll have to get used to, and his people, his entourage will have to get used to. But man, Boston's getting everything they wanted in Kyrie, except without the friction. Definitely. So,
yeah. I mean, Kemba's he's everything Kyrie is, except for the asshole part.
If I could interject, they're getting everything that they could want in Kyrie, except a quieter, better version of him.
All right. Yeah.
Like they're getting the Kawhi Leonard of Kyrie Irving, right. For lack of a better way to put it. Just Kemba was quiet, but he was, like I said, I always go back to 2K. He is one of my favorite players to play with in 2K. I'm getting to the rim. You can't stop me. Like, it doesn't matter what you think you're doing. Right. Like, Kemba's a beast.
Jay, would you have to ask Money about Boston? Or ask us about Boston?
Well, it's one part Boston and one part Philly. The real question I have is, with these projections and projecting that Kawhi leaves the East, who wins the East? Bold predictions.
I like Philly.
I do too.
I like Philly.
I think it's because of Al.
Yeah, I think he does so much. I think he does so much offensively and defensively for that team. First of all, they're already an elite level defensive team. It'll be interesting to see what Indiana does when Oladipo returns and they got some other help, and because they got Brogdon too. So and Jeremy Lamb. So I think it'll be interesting to see. But they lost Thaddeus Young, so they lost some pieces, but they gained a couple. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. I think they can be sneaky good. I think Boston, of course, will be really good. Like those young guys have to really develop though. But now that some of that pressure will be off them, Rozier's gone, Kyrie's gone, so it'll basically be and Horford's gone, so it'll basically be Kemba's team. He's gonna go right back into the role that he already played here, and he'll, so I do like Boston. I really, really, really like Milwaukee. They basically brought their team back, other than Brogdon. So and I'm sure they're not done, but man, you just can't overshadow what Philadelphia has done. They let Reddit get out the door, but.
Which is hurt. That hurts.
Yeah, I really think that hurts them, just because they're confined to kind of 18 feet in, but they had a young kid that could really light it up, and Landry Shamet, but I think they traded him out late last season. So.
Well, I was gonna say I like Milwaukee.
Yeah.
That's what I would go with. And first of all, West Coast Shade, when you said you like Philly because of Al. I was like, what did I do?
That's hilarious.
I said the same thing too. I was like, what the fuck
I'm
else?
like, what did I say? I
Yeah.
never picked Philly.
Yeah, no, it's because of the champion Al. The yeah, that Al, not Glymph. Horford.
Appreciate it. I don't think that's a good match though. Like I think
In Boston,
that makes
if I
me
had to come up with a favorite.
And I don't know if having them on the court at the same time defensively is going to be a good thing. They're going to be big, but the league is not big basketball anymore. So
Yeah, but Al is going back to his natural position as a stretch four with an actual center next to him.
that was a natural position like 7 years ago. Like even though he was a natural power forward, and the Hawks was playing him as a center.
Right.
Now,
Exactly.
in his age, I think he should be a center.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like in 12, 13 years in the league, he's never been a power forward. He's always been a center. And he should have been playing power forward earlier in his career, but now he's actually a center.
But he's a power forward that can shoot.
He's a big man that can shoot. I don't know if his power forward days are here anymore.
In this spread out league, he's definitely a power forward. Still.
He's a power forward, man. That's a four, especially with Joel Embiid, one of the actual remaining centers.
Yeah, but that's the thing is, like at this day and age in the NBA, can he still guard like
A four?
Can he still guard a four? A today's
Philly's
four?
so elite defensively. I mean, I don't think that'll be a problem for him.
Neither do I.
Like
I think
Philly,
that
some
Philly
of
was
Philly's
elite
team-
defensively. Who did they have at the four? Tobias played the four a lot last year.
Bias played the four, and
Tobias
he's
played
a
the four
three.
lot.
That's what I'm saying. So they got bigger and slower, and a faster, quicker NBA.
Right. That don't make a lot of sense to me.
Well, you
Okay.
guys will see.
Yeah, like this is what I think old man Booty Ball about to win.
Nah,
Yeah, okay.
you're scoring 89 points a game. That ain't happening.
Yep. If the other team's scoring 87, then it works.
just don't-
Once again, I remind you that Toronto beat them in Game 7 on the last shot in the last minute, the last possession. Philadelphia
Yeah, but that
is
was-
ready.
They don't have Redick or Butler anymore.
Right.
That's fair.
Like we're not talking about the
That's
same
fair.
Philly team.
That's fair, but they kept the
They do have a
nucleus of their
6'9"
team,
point guard.
and I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be fine. Once again, these guys are 21, 20, 22 years old. Well, if they need to get in the gym, improve, and I think they'll come back ready to go.
I think Al in practice is going to be Horford again. Sorry about that, Al.
Thank
But,
you. I was like, hold on, what we practicing?
He said, we're going to practice. I think Al in practice is getting ready to make them have to defend differently than they were used to. It's going to make them have to score differently than they were used to.
Yeah.
So he's
I like
going
what
to
Al-
open
And
this thing.
he's going to make Embiid better.
Yeah.
It's scary to think, but he's going to make Embiid even better.
Yeah.
Like that's what's scary to me about Philly. Like I don't want nobody having to make my star player better.
Nah, I don't think he has to.
That's just
but
what
I
happens
think that,
when you
yeah,
practice
when-
against a guy every day.
No, what I'm saying is
Like,
because
I feel like
because you say
Iguodala
you,
made Clay better. I
No,
feel like Iguodala
but
made
he-
Dre better.
But
Like,
he
I feel like
but he
these
didn't
things
need to.
happen.
Somebody like that's what concerns me about Philly, and is that somebody needs to make Joel better. And when I say better, not more talented, but better, more committed. Like I don't want somebody to have to come in and make a guy who proclaims to be the leader of my team. Somebody needs to make him better, and that's always my
No.
concern with him.
Jay, am I reading between the lines here when I say that you say somebody need to get that bitch up out of him?
No, I ain't saying like I don't want somebody to come in and have to tell you to work hard or to make you have to like find that
Not
extra
when you're the
gear.
best player on the team.
Not when you're the best player on the team. I don't want to have to bring a veteran in to say, hey, let's light a fire under his ass. I don't want that from. That's my concern. I ain't saying he's trash. I ain't playing radio here. What I'm saying is I just don't want that. Have to bring in somebody to light a fire under my best player's ass, because that's what needs to happen to Embiid.
I feel like Game 7 lit a fire under Embiid's ass.
Yeah,
we're not going to see it until next year. Like that again, this is the joy of us pontificating presently. Right. Is that we're not going to be able to see any of what happened. But Joel was in the corner when Kawhi was bent over looking at that shot. When he was squatting down watching that shot, Joel was the one that was there.
Well,
and
again,
I feel like if that doesn't make him better, then it doesn't matter who you bring in.
Yeah, but that's what, like that. But I'm just saying that I'm not saying what's going to happen in the future. My thing is in the past and in the most recent past, like I don't want my best player to have to like improve his desire at any point. Even
I
from
don't
his
think it's a desire thing.
It is a desire thing. Like it's a desire. Like
I'm with money.
It's a desire thing. Like when
I think it's a young. He's young. I think it's a young improvement. Like he's learning. He's still learning how to.
I ain't talking about
learning
skill level. I ain't talking about. I'm talking about
me either.
When you watch, like when you see a dude that when this game, when you in the playoffs, that same series y'all talking about where he was crying, like. I ain't saying people don't get sick, but you get an upper respiratory infection and shit just stuff. Like with some people, just like outside of sports, with just some people in life, we all know this person where it's always a fucking story. And there's always something happening. It's always something like, oh man, you know I would have meant, like, it's always something with this dude. And
hey, but in Illinois, if you got an upper respiratory issue, you get arrested for that shit.
Hey, you do, especially if you got a hospital gown on. But I don't. It's just always something. Like we all know that dude. It's just always something. You always got a reason for why shit didn't get done, and that's my thing with Joel. It's just always something.
Wow.
All right. Well, I trust the process.
Yeah.
Just bottom line,
So,
I do. I trust the process. It's what the Knicks fans are having to do now. They're having to trust the process.
But to answer your question in short, I'm saying Milwaukee. So
you got the Bucks. That's fair.
So, but really quick, West Coast J, you first. Best move, worst move in free agency.
Best move in free agency. Worst move in free agency. Jesus. Best move was before free agency when the Lakers got AD. Just straight up.
All right.
Worst move in free agency was Brooklyn. Just kind of as a whole.
Oh, overall, okay.
Just kind of as a whole. Like I don't think they got what they needed to get, and I don't like that they had to give. Like if I was Brooklyn and I was thinking like Al and or Pooh, D'Lo would still be an asset. He would still be there for me to, like, if I wanted Kyrie, fine, but I'd still have an asset to be able to do something. The fact that you got Kevin, paid him everything to not get him for a year, and still gave up your only All-Star?
Mm-hmm. Do you think any of that was out of Kyrie's demands? Of D'Lo had to go if I come?
Yeah, the worst part is I don't know Kyrie personally. If I was hanging out with Kyrie, I'd be able to answer that question. Mm-hmm. But, you know, the only thing that I have to go on with Kyrie Irving is his media portrayal. You know, because if we were to go with the media portrayals of people, that's consistently wrong. Kyrie was in Boston. Like, we're talking about a top 10 media market. So anything could have happened up there. You know what I mean? When Kyrie was in Cleveland, he was playing with LeBron, which made Cleveland a media market.
But he has admitted that he wanted his way out of LeBron's shadow in Cleveland. That was his words.
Yeah, and now he has his own place in Brooklyn in a bigger media market where he is much more comfortable, where he's at home. He's a city boy. It is what it is. So, but I don't think that Brooklyn's moves overall, I think that they overreached.
Right.
Just straight up, I think that their three, the DeAndre Jordan, I'm not necessarily mad at. The Kevin Durant, I mean, that's a gamble. But to also bring in Kyrie with his track record, that's where they lost. If it would have been D'Lo, KD, and or D'Lo, KD in a year, and DeAndre, okay, let's see what you guys got.
Gotcha. Okay. All right, money. Best move, worst move.
Best move. Man, I'd have a tough time saying that the trade for AD wasn't the best move. But if we're just gonna stick with free agency, I like what Portland's done. Also, like sneakily, Portland's out there building themselves a championship caliber team. Also, so didn't they trade for Hassan Whiteside?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. They got him.
And they brought back. I can't remember his name. They brought back their forward, and they brought back Rodney Hood. I think, and their center will be healthy again. You're gonna have issues dealing with those two guys inside. And of course, they still have the star power of McCollum and Lillard. So I think I want to say, like, keep an eye on. Keep an eye on Portland for their sneaky moves that they're doing out there. I also really like what Denver's doing. We're going ahead to re-signing Jamal Murray. So I think that would be the two best moves. Worst move. I love Kevin Durant. I really do. I just don't know if you give a guy a max contract that's going to be coming off an Achilles. I'm not sure how. Hopefully he makes us all eat crow and he comes back super Durant. Because you never want a guy to be hurt, and I don't want to lose that. I don't want to lose the fandom of being able to watch that type of talent.
All right.
But we haven't seen it yet. Not saying that we won't, but we haven't seen it yet. So, hopefully he'll come back great, but I just don't know. I think maybe a prove it deal or an option deal or whatever, but oh well. That's it's risky. So I'll call it that. If it wasn't Kevin Durant, whoever did that we would be crucifying them.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'll stop there.
All right. Al, what say you?
Well, first, just to your point, money, and to what you mentioned earlier, Jay. Like, imagine if someone did that to DeMarcus Cousins last season. What they would have said to that team have been like, why did you give DeMarcus Cousins all that money? Like, he tripping. He tripping. But my best moves, I like undercover. I like Brogdon to the Pacers. I think I liked him in Milwaukee. I understand that they couldn't pay everybody, so I understand why he had to leave. But matching him up in Indiana with Oladipo, I think is going to be a nice combination going forward, assuming he comes back healthy. Another team that I think made a good move, I look at the Jazz, and I think Conley coming over and the dude Bogdanovich.
Bogdanovich.
I think he's going to fit in well with them, and I think that's going to help them really be like get home court in the playoffs that first round. Like I think they're gonna be in the top 4 with this squad right here. So I really like those moves. Worst moves is so I agree with what my co-hosts have mentioned. The Nets that was a risky and bad call, but the deal I'm gonna talk about is really the Mavericks Porzingis, and I just look at a player who, he ain't never played a whole season. He's 7'3". He's already had like knee injuries, back issues, elbow issues, ankle issues. Like just from a Knicks fan, and like he got like personal issues. Things have happened off the court. Like recently, just got jumped and had a bar fight.
He did get jumped in the club.
Okay, he's been accused of rape. You know what I mean? He's already y'all. I had the I had the spaz out when he was on the Knicks, and he didn't show up for that last that interview because he was pissed at the Knicks. I thought that was unprofessional then. So to me, like he ain't even played in 2 years. So to give that dude 5 years and $160 million, like I just look at it. If that was another player with all of those negatives on his list, like people would be like, why would you give that dude all that money? And so it's amazing to me how, as people assess the deals and organizations, it just trips me out how their logic just is not consistent. Like with the Achilles as well as with Porzingis. Like I just think any other NBA player, not any other NBA other player, but a lot of other NBA players with that as their history, people wouldn't be so caught up on their quote unquote potential of what they could do when they're on the court. They would recognize that dude ain't worth the risk. So that to me was the worst deal.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, funny thing about everything we just said in the last hour, we don't know shit. Ain't nobody gonna know shit until a year or two from now. But it's fun to talk about it. And
hey, can I give an honorable mention to the Phoenix Suns?
Oh yes, you can.
Honorable mention to the Phoenix Suns. They did some sneaky things that I really enjoy. I like Rubio down there. I like Rubio down there a lot.
Right.
Like he's got 2 number 1 picks to just. Devin Booker's a stud.
Yeah, I like Booker.
And we get to see what Ayton actually can do with a point guard who's a for real point guard.
Mm-hmm.
So, honorable mention to the Suns.
Yeah, man. Rubio's one of those dudes I think now that teams are going to always try to replace, but he's always going to be solid wherever he goes.
I don't know why it gets moved so much. He's talented.
Yeah, can't shoot.
He can't shoot.
No, he can't shoot.
He's Rondo-esque.
Right. Very Rondo-esque, yeah.
But those two are very, very similar.
Right.
Except Rondo plays D.
He does play D, and Rondo is smart enough to go places where he's surrounded by a lot better talent than Rubio's been. So, yeah. But I do like him in Phoenix, though. So, hopefully he gets to stick around for a while. Well, Money, you ready to stump us with some trivia, dude?
Yeah.
Or attempt to, I should say.
Been waiting on this.
Let's get it.
Check us out. A couple of our favorite categories are back. A couple of them, and we have a couple new categories also. So we got category. All right. So we have 4 categories. Questions 1 through 5 in each category, and we have the categories are as follows. Today, official. Now it's the What's today? The 3rd of June, but July, and officially it was the 2nd of July. So we have today's birthdays, which are
Happy birthday, Mom.
a happy birthday, the West Coast Mom.
Happy
We have
birthday, West Coast
today's
Moms.
West Coast Mom.
today's birthdays, 10 through 50. We have miscellaneous, 10 through 50. We have not top records, 10 through 50, and we have hip hop number ones, 10 through 50, or 1 through 5, however you want to say it.
Okay.
Not sure who won last week. Who won last week?
I think Jay did, right?
Probably Jay.
All right, so let's go. Hold on, let me get my score sheet. Jay, and let's say Al, then say West Coast, and then let's say Yosh. All right, Jay, where you going?
Run them all back through me again.
Today's birthdays, miscellaneous, not top records, and what hip hop number ones.
I ain't comfortable on none of them. Let's go miscellaneous, man.
Miscellaneous 4.
4.
Miscellaneous for 4. In the HBO show The Wire, who is Avon and Stringer's hitman / enforcer? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
Marlo.
3. Marlo. Marlo is incorrect.
Shit.
In the show The Wire, Avon and Stringer's primary hitman enforcer's name was Weebay.
That was Weebay, baby. Weebay and Snoop.
Yeah.
Weebay. Bay. Man, you ain't want to see Bay. Hey, you ain't want to see Bay nowhere near you.
and unless you was homeboy with the scar on his face, Weebay ain't want to see him. Omar. Weebay didn't want to see Omar.
Ain't nobody want no parts of Omar.
Nobody want to fuck with Omar.
That's what's up. Al, where you going?
Let me try today's birthday for 30.
Today's birthdays for 30.
What's this one like?
This Michigan quarterback was at the helm during arguably the biggest upset in college football history.
Fucking son of a bang.
What is this quarterback's name? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You got a guess? Give me a name.
Chad Henne.
That is correct. And for double points,
Fuck out of here.
for double points, tell me the year he was born.
8 seconds after the buzzer.
Chad Henne. I'll say 1991.
That's incorrect. Chad Henne was born in 1985, but you do get the 30 points.
Okay. Yay.
All right. West Coast, where you going?
Well, let's see what these birthdays do. Let's do it for 50.
50. Wow. All right. Birthdays for 50. This civil rights activist and NAACP official was born in Decatur, Mississippi. He was assassinated in 1963. Who was this civil rights activist? 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
Shit.
2, 1.
Patrice Lumumba.
That is incorrect.
Is it Mega Evers?
That would be Medgar Evers. That is correct.
It was Megger. That's funny.
And you know what year Medgar Evers was born? Al?
I would guess 1930.
Close, 1925. All right, Yosh, where you going?
Hip hop. For
Hip hop number ones for 4. All right, let's see. This was this artist's first number 1 hit, surprisingly, featuring its famous tongue clicks and produced by the Neptunes. This song spent 3 weeks at number 1 in 2004. What was this song?
Man.
10.
it's been in what year?
2004. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
I can't remember the name. I know what song it is, but I just can't remember the name.
Drop it like it's hot.
That is correct. Drop it like it's hot.
Oh, there you go.
All right. Jay, where you at?
Shit. Let me go. Birthdays for. Is the 4 still out there?
4 still out here.
Let me get that.
This Olympic gold medalist. This person was an Olympic gold medalist in the 400-meter hurdle in the 1996 Atlanta Olympics. What is this gold medalist sprinter's name? 10, 9.
What year again?
The 96 Olympics. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2,
Is that
1.
Derek Atkins?
Oh, yes, it actually is Derek Atkins.
Thought so, yeah.
Jay pulls out the 30. Jay, for double points, can you tell me what year he was born?
Oh, fuck. 1976.
No, he was born in 1970, I believe.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me double check. 'Cause my handwriting was a little sloppy on that one.
Hey, just give me the points, man. Don't worry about it. Yeah, Derek Atkins saved the U.S. in that one. He was the only medalist we had in the
No,
hurdles.
it was 70. It was 70, not
70,
76.
okay.
I was right here. All right, so I'll give you guys a score after this round. Al, where you at?
What's left in miscellaneous?
50, 30, 20, 10.
Let me try miscellaneous 50.
Miscellaneous for 50. Name me the NFL teams that play in domes.
Wow.
Damn.
How many is it?
9, 8,
Can't
7,
tell you.
Okay.
6,
Atlanta,
5,
New Orleans,
3, 2, 1.
what's in the dome? Atlanta,
He-
New Orleans.
He get a little bit more time because it's 8 answers.
And he
Okay.
started before the. Okay.
Okay, Atlanta, New Orleans. Who else plays in the dome? I'm
10,
blanking.
9, 8, 7,
Minnesota?
5, 4,
No, they play open air.
2,
Shit, if I remember. I don't remember.
Time is up. Anybody know all of them?
Atlanta, New Orleans, Indianapolis, Minnesota. Do we count Arizona?
Houston,
Detroit.
Arizona, Detroit. Houston,
Detroit.
Houston, Arizona, Detroit.
Do you count Jerry World if they could close the roof?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's how I
Yeah.
feel about Arizona.
All
We
right.
count.
All of them. Yeah, they're closed. They still don't. So,
Yeah. Damn, how I
So
forget
Dallas.
Dallas.
In Dallas, yep. Lions, Falcons, Saints, Vikes, Cowboys, Texans, Colts, and Cardinals.
Good
Fifth
question.
off the board.
Yeah.
West Coast, where you at?
Birthdays, 330, 300, somewhere in the 30
You
region.
only got 10 and 20.
All right, let me have a 20 then.
This, the king, was born in Level Cross, North Carolina.
Richard Petty.
Is oh shit! I didn't even get the question out. That is correct. For double points, can you tell me what year he was born?
37.
That is also correct.
Wow.
Damn.
Secret NASCAR fans on the low.
Oh. Yosh, where you
The
at?
jackpot. Damn.
Hip hop for 5.
Hip hop number ones for 5. This dance bang jammer spent a whopping 10 weeks at number 1. This song was eventually certified platinum 6 times. It was produced by DJ Monte in 2008. What is this song?
10,
Get that
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I just like pressing buttons on my shit because I had no clue what the hell that was.
Anybody know what song that is?
What did you say, 2008? Shit.
Yep.
Superman.
In the club?
No, that is Flow Riders.
Oh, I was going to say Flow Rider, but I was like, you know what? Can't be that.
Flow Riders what?
Flow Riders Low.
Low. That low?
Yeah.
Yep. One and only.
Wow.
Apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur. All that stuff.
Jean.
Yeah.
Man, that was 2008.
Right.
Yes, it was.
Man.
All right. Score breakdown after these 2 rounds. Jay's got 40. Al's got 30. West Coast has 40. Yosh has 0. All right, Jay, it's on you. Where you going?
Miscellaneous for 20.
Miscellaneous 420. This place, also of the same name, is known for its chocolate.
Hershey, PA.
That is correct.
I mean, would you have accepted Belgium?
No. But that is technically correct.
Right?
Would you have accepted White County, Georgia?
No, because I don't know
No.
anything from White County, Georgia.
No. Also, white
or
chocolate is
or
not
chocolate.
chocolate. Yeah, white chocolate is not chocolate.
White chocolate is butter.
It's
Al,
cocoa
where
butter.
Al, where you
Let
going?
me go. What's in miscellaneous? What's left in miscellaneous?
10 and 30.
Let me do 30.
30. What is the rapper T.I.'s real name? Get the countdown.
His whole name?
Yeah. Yosh, where that countdown at?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6,
I
5,
just know his first
4,
name is Clifford. I don't know his last
2,
name.
1.
T.I.'s real
Clifford Harris.
T.I.'s whole name is Clifford Joseph Harris Jr. That is correct. All right, West Coast, where you going?
So
All right, we got 10 left in birthdays.
Yep.
Oh, is there a 30 in hip hop still?
Hip hop number ones. Yes, there is.
Let me have a 30.
30 for hip hop number ones. This song in 2004 was short lived at the top. It was only number 1 for 1 week. It was produced by Big Boy and Carl Mo. What is the name of this song?
Jesus Christ.
10.
2004.
Look at that countdown.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
I can't wait.
2, 1.
That is incorrect.
Damn it, Yosh.
Outcast, I like the way you
That was about to be my second answer. I thought it was the one by Sleepy. All right, you got me.
Yosh, on you.
Hip hop for 20.
Hip hop number ones for 20. This 2002 smash hit spent nearly 3 months at number 1, while adding a whopping 10 weeks. It was produced by Bam and Ryan. A member of the Destiny's Child laced the track. What is the name of this song? 10,
9, 8, 7,
Oh, shoot.
6, 5, 4, 3,
Oh, my God.
2, 1.
And when you say it, I'm going to be like, yep, that's it. Go ahead.
Anybody know?
It's got to be Beyonce.
It's Beyonce. Girl something.
It's actually not. It's Nelly featuring Kelly Rowland, Dilemma.
Oh God!
Oh.
I hated that fucking song.
Yeah, I wouldn't have known that one. Definitely the wrong member of Destiny's Child. Money.
Right.
Jay, it's back on you.
What's left in birthdays?
10.
Shit. Yeah, let's go birthdays for 10.
All right. This guy played wide receivers for the Patriots, winning 2 Super Bowls, playing corner and wide receiver. Who's this guy?
Troy Brown.
That is correct. For double points, can you tell me when he was born? The year.
Oh. Let's see. Troy Brown came out of Louisville. Let's see.
10,
1971.
7,
That is correct.
Oh, word.
Jake is 20 points.
Sweet.
Troy Brown was born in 1971. All right, Alex, where you going? Today's birthdays are closed.
Okay.
Shout out to Thurgood Marshall.
You shout out to David Marshall. All right, you got what's out here is 10 in miscellaneous. Not the whole category of not top records, and 1 in 10. I'm sorry for hip hop number ones.
Let me go 50 not top records. What the hell is that?
50 not top records. Dennis Green coached this team to a very uninspiring 0-11 season. This team was outscored on the season 505 to 82 points. What is this awesome not top record team?
The Arizona Cardinals?
Let me get that count. Oh, that's incorrect.
8, 7.
Something like that.
The Minnesota Vikings?
It is not, actually. It is the 1981 Northwestern Wildcats.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they said 0-11, so I knew it
did
was
say
an NFL
11.
team. Yeah.
West Coast, where you going?
Jesus. I mean, with that question, now I'm shell-shocked a little bit. Let me have, damn it, what were the other 10s left?
10 left in miscellaneous, 10 left in hip-hop number ones.
Let me have the hip-hop.
Hip-hop number ones for 10. You wouldn't know it, but this was this artist's first number 1 song. Didn't come until 2002. It spent 11 weeks at number 1.
Empire State of Mind, Jay-Z.
That's your answer? That's not
My
right.
first guess. All right, finish the question now. I'm curious.
It is the song is produced by Eminem and Jeff Bass in 2002.
Oh, yeah. Empire State of Mind, Jay-Z.
That's incorrect, sir. That would be Eminem's "Lose Yourself."
Lose
It's a 2002.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Fair enough.
All right.
Yosh, on you.
Not top records for 40.
Not top records for 40. This 11-71 team lost at the time an NBA all-time record 23 straight games. Who was this not top team?
The 76ers?
That's incorrect, sir. That would be the 1997 Denver Nuggets.
The who? Yes.
So do we have to give the year and the team?
If you give me the year, you get double points.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
All right. After this round, Jay is in the front with 80. Al has 30. West Coast has 40. Yosh has none. Jay, it's on you.
Let me get not top records for 10.
Not top records for 10. This team went 7-59 during a lockout shortened season. What team was this?
The Bobcats.
That's correct. What year?
2009?
That would be 2012, so you only get the 10 points.
Okay.
All right, Al, it's on you.
Let me get not top for 30.
Not top records for 30. This team went 13-69. This team went 13-69. Mike Woodson coached this team. They had a couple good players. Antoine Walker and Arrow Harrington. Who was this team? Get that countdown.
10, 9, 8,
The Hawks.
7, 6.
That is correct. What year?
Not that I don't remember. So I'm going to guess. Woodson and the Hawks. 2000.
I need an answer.
2007.
You were close. It's 2009.
Wow.
All right, West Coast, where we going?
What's the highest point total left? 20?
20 and not top records.
Damn it. That means I can't beat Jay.
That's why I took the 10.
That's why don't nobody like you. All right, well, let me have a miscellaneous 10 then, just out of spite.
Miscellaneous 10. Finish this lyric. It's too deep to change. Everybody know my name.
10,
Bitch.
9, 8.
Bitch.
So wait, that was incorrect.
Oh, shit. Oh,
That is not right.
I feel like that go with every lyric.
Lakers just signed Jared Dudley, by the way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
It's too deep to change. Everybody know my name. I guess I gotta charge it to the game.
Biatch.
Bitch.
And you could have given me double points by telling me that was Silk the Shocker.
Oh, God. Or
I don't feel like I was wrong still.
All right, Yosh, you want this last question?
Oh, boy.
Yep.
All right. It's the 20-point, not top tens. This team went 2-14. This record earned them the number one pick.
Team went 2-14, and the record gave them the number one pick.
That's correct. What was this not top record team?
Oh shit. Arizona Cardinals.
That is incorrect. Well, that might be correct. Not the answer. That would be the 2006 Oakland Raiders. They used that number 1 pick in 2007 to draft.
Jamarcus Russell.
That is correct. So I would have given you 60 points for that one, Yosh.
And I still would have lost.
Bastard.
All right, that's it, guys. The winner is racking it up. It's Jay with 90 points. Al, you close with 60. Let's close it out.
Well, good game, fellas.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Whatever.
All right, money. Shit, you hosted. What you got for me?
Hey man, it's very, very good to be back. You know, I missed y'all. It's 1 o'clock, so I'm gonna definitely keep it short. Just wanted to, you know, as always, thank the fans. You know, thank the listeners. Keep supporting the show. Keep supporting the network. Hey, please jump out there. We got a lot of ratings out there. Please jump out there and 5-star rate us. You know, I already know what I'm gonna say, man. If you're not rocking with Defy Life, what is your life about?
No doubt. Finish second. West Coast, what you got for me?
I mean, I'll finish second, but I'll take it.
Oh, shit.
Happy birthday, my mother. July 2nd was her birthday, and I'm excited about it.
All right.
Other than that, looking forward to the Defy Life cookout. I'm glad that the real is back, so I ain't gotta tell people it's 2 for Tuesdays or tell them that if they not rocking with Defy Life, what is their life about? I don't have to do none of that because you already did it. Shout out to the women's U.S. national soccer team.
Shouts out.
Finals, baby.
USA.
Also, happy birthday, Alex Morgan.
All right. All right.
Scored a goal a day.
Yeah.
All right. Al, what you got for me?
Man, I ain't got much, man. Have a good week. Be safe. And see y'all next Tuesday.
All right. Yosh, what's goody?
Not much, man. Just do you wake up every morning, set those goals, and attack them with fervor. Make sure you Defy Life.
Word. Yeah, I ain't got much. Forgot to mention this at the top of the show. Congrats to all you gentlemen. We have been nominated for a People's Choice Podcast Award. So everybody go out there. Go to podcastawards.com and vote for the Defy Life podcast on the sports category as well as the People's Choice category. We were nominated a couple years ago as well, and we didn't make it to the next round. So let's get that push to get us to the next round of the nominations. So again, podcastawards.com and go register and vote. Support your boys. That's all I got, man. Y'all go defylife.com, check out defylifegear.com, check out our Spreaker channel, all that stuff. And shout out to the Relationship Status Podcast for our first live show. It was dope. So shout out to you, Yosh, CL, and Neek. So dope episode. It is now.
Okay, that was Yusef.
That was Yusef. I'm sorry. It was Yusef, CL, and Neek. And it will also be available at godefylife.com, the video, as well as our YouTube channel. So all that stuff, man. Continuing the growth. New month here, and we are continuing to grow. So thanks, everybody. We will talk to you again next week. Until then, Defy Life.
Defy Life.
Defy Life.
And reading is still fundamental.
Peace.
That ain't how we end the show.
I mean, we defy life too. We also defy life, but true, reading is still fundamental.
This is true. It's true.
We know the name of this show.
Welcome to the Anything, Everything, and Nothing podcast with Lynn and Kim. Join us as we discuss the latest in everything from entertainment and current events to the craziness that is our real life.
Let's laugh, let's live, let's talk about it. New episode every Tuesday on the Defy Life Podcast Network. And remember, if you're not defying life, then what are you doing? Lynn and Kim.